Hello once again and welcome to the finale of Steins Gate. Over a year in the making. Literally, I looked at the dates, it's been over a year. Hey, cut me some slack. Visual novels are hard, okay? In this format they are anyway. So if we go to load, we can see all the save files I've made. Going all the way back to day one, which was April 8th of last year. See, over a year, not lying. These have been all the main ones. And here was the Mayuri playthrough I'd been doing in the background. So I believe it's the last one I made. Our goal is obviously to get the true ending, and it essentially results in another chapter, chapter 11. So that'll be fun to see. Now, what is the true ending and how do you get it if you don't know, and if it hasn't been clear? The true ending is affected, you obtain it by the email conversations that Okabe has with Kurisu. So if I go back and look at our trophy list, let's see, where is it? It's near the bottom. Oh, I think it was actually near the top. My mistake. Yes, Genius Girls Melancholy made friends with Kurisu via email. Now that doesn't necessarily get you the true ending, but that's the path it takes. Early on in the story, when Kurisu and Okabe begin exchanging emails, you have that ability to be a little bit nicer to her in your replies, and that eventually unlocks the storyline in which Okabe agrees to go with Kurisu to Aomori to meet her father, and then that continues to evolve, etc., etc., etc. Ultimately, there are 6 flags for the true ending, 6 things that you can reply to Kurisu with that lead to unlocking it, and the final one is in Chapter 10. Though the first time we went through Chapter 10, I hid it. Hopefully I did it very well, did a good job of hiding it, because it popped up in an email that I edited out through magic. I tried to make it unnoticeable when it happens and when it gets sent. So hopefully you didn't notice it. But it does happen, it happens after Mayuri dies at the beginning of the chapter. So Okabe comes back and he decides to test out the new timeline. And he goes to Komima with Mayuri on the final day. They come back, she gets hit by the car, and that's when she says, like, "Oh, I was finally useful to you," and she dies in his arms, and he has a breakdown, and time leaps back a couple days. Now, when he does that, and he's on the roof of Rade Khan, this is not the day that it rains, it's like the day before, and eventually Kurisu shows up. They have a conversation there on top of the rooftop, and he tells her the truth that, like, you know, if I undo the final D-mail and we go back one more world line, you're gonna die. Well, during this entire, like, or rather right before this conversation starts, there's an email that Okabe gets from Kurisu. So if we load up this file, it should already be there. Here it is. Where are you? You haven't been to the lab in 2 days. Are you still in Akihabara? We're worried, you know. You were acting strange yesterday. I want to help, so tell me where you are. I don't feel right not having you around. Where are you? I want to see you. So if we reply to her, let me be alone. I need to think. Now, I'm not quite sure what this changes from here on out. Perhaps nothing, except for obviously unlocking the true ending. But I don't think any of the content in the chapter changes. But we can find out very quickly because I'm going to hit skip and the game will automatically gloss over all lines that I've read before and will stop when something changes. So let me make a little bit of an edit here and we will rejoin when things get different. And we're back. So everything remains the same throughout the rest of the chapter. You have the conversation with Mayuri at her grandmother's grave. You have the conversation with Kurisu at Rade Khan after it starts raining. Kurisu still gets mad at Okabe for refusing to give up. Then you have the confession scene in which they kiss. And he regrettably makes the same choice to ultimately go back to the Beta World line. You have the moment where Kurisu barges in at the last second to try to tell Okabe her true feelings. And then the sad ending of Okabe lamenting losing Kurisu upon returning to the Beta World line. But as you can see and hear, things are a bit different. Now we have Gaeta Steiner playing over the credits, signaling that we do have the true ending, and it'll be starting momentarily. But before it does, while I have a few moments here, I want to say that I was very fortunate, as I've said before, to go through Steins Gate the first time by the visual novel and not the anime or anything else, because the VN does such a good job of like building up this this final chapter as well as this final true ending. And I didn't know what it was going to be until I read through the VN, and it's fantastic. It's really special, and I love the final chapter, the final two chapters, through Kurisu's ending and now the true ending. It's what makes me still like Steins Gate a whole hell of a lot, and it's why I was crazy enough to do this. So here we go, the true ending.
Hi, もしもし。え？誰が？僕が？お父さん？君の？何言ってんの？は？岡部倫太郎に代われ？なあ、おかりん。謎の女が代わってくれってさ。
誰だ？
お願い、今すぐラジカンの屋上に来て。
だから誰だよ。
私は2036年から来た。そこにいる橋田至の娘。名前は天音鈴葉。
ちょっと待て。鈴葉が。なんでここにいるんだ
Chapter 11. Open the Steins Gate. She said to meet her on the roof of Radicon. When I get there, I find it cordoned off. The roof was off limits to begin with, but now it's also part of a crime scene, as if I needed another reminder of the murder that took place here 3 weeks ago. I duck under the yellow tape and open the door. The lock is still broken. I can hardly breathe after running up the stairs to get here. As I gasp for air, I look across the stark white concrete. And naturally my eyes go straight to the satellite sitting smack dab in the middle of the roof.
嘘だろ。
ロボじゃね？変形とかしたりして。
Mayuri and Daru are just as surprised. What is that thing? I mean, it looks like Suzuha's time machine, but there's something different about it. Suzuha's looked old and beat up. This one looks brand new. It's not stuck in the wall either. And besides, this is the Beta World line, where CERN's dystopia never forms. Suzuha has no reason to travel to 2010. That satellite shouldn't be here. And yet, I feel like I've seen it before. Where? When did I? Of course! It was at Dr. Nakibachi's presentation. Right before the presentation started, something shook the building like an earthquake. When I went to check the roof, this satellite was sitting here. Though still confused, I approached the satellite. Just then, the hatch opens, and someone steps outside.
Okabe Rintaro?
Suzuha!
It really is her. The part-time warrior, John Titer, time traveler from 2036. Daru's daughter, who will be born 7 years from now.
なんでだなんでお前がここにいる
I asked her the same question over the phone, but I can't help myself. I need answers.
質問に答えて。君が岡部倫太郎？
おう。
The way she puts it makes it sound like she's never met me before. And now that we're talking face to face, I realize that there's something very different about her. For starters, what's with all the camo? It looks dirty and worn, like she's been fighting in it for a while. She's even carrying a gun for some reason, and I'm pretty sure it's not a replica. Is she really Amane Suzuha?
いや待て。ちょっと待て。
This doesn't make sense. No, calm down. Figure this out, Okabe. You know that this is impossible. Suzuha can't be here. She leapt to 1975 in her one-way time machine. She found the IBM 5100, made sure it would get to you, then passed away in the year 2000. So where did this girl come from?
私は2036年から来たタイムトラベラー。オカリンおじさんに頼みがあるの。
Uncle?
おじさんなの？
We don't have time to humor Mayuri's question. Suzuha walks up to me and looks me in the eye. Her expression is grim. The next words out of her mouth are the last thing I expected to hear.
この世界線の未来では第三次世界大戦が起きちゃうんだ。それを回避するために私に協力して過去を変えてお願い。
なんだよそれ。なんだよそれは。
第三次世界大戦って大変だ
いや、つうかさ、タイムトラベラーってマジ？釣りじゃなくて？
父さんは黙ってて。
父さん？はあ、びっくりした。謎の美少女にいきなり父さん呼ばわりされたでござる。どうせならお兄ちゃんと呼んでくれ。
待ってくれ。
I take a deep breath. Okay, let's figure this out. I turn to Suzuha.
そこにある人工衛星のようなものはタイムマシンか？
Suzuha nods curtly. She hasn't smiled once. There's no hint of the cheerful Suzuha I remember. Instead, I sense strength, conviction, and steel resolve.
お前の父親が作ったのか？
そうだよ。
Suzuha glances at Daru.
お前は一体どこから来た
2036年から1975年2000年を経由して。
経由だって。
That doesn't make any sense. She's obviously not in her 40s. Which means...
あのタイムマシンは未来方向にも跳躍できると言いたいのか？
そうじゃなきゃタイムマシンとは呼べないじゃん。
This isn't the Suzuha I know. But it is Suzuha.
お前は違う未来から来た。
違う未来。
2036年はどんな状況なんだ？セルンによるディストピアは？
セルンって何？ディストピア？
Suzuha frowns. She doesn't know about CERN? That settles it. She's definitely not the Suzuha I know.
さっき第三次世界大戦が起きると言ったよな。
そう。その戦争で人類の総人口は10億人まで減ったの。
10億って、今の総人口って67億人ぐらいじゃなかったっけ？だとしたら57億人も死んだってこと？
核兵器が使われてね。かつての冷戦構造にそっくりだった。きっかけはタイムマシン。EU とロシアによる開発競争が火種になって、それにアメリカまでが横やりを入れたから収拾がつかなくなった。世界を滑る可能性を持つ夢の装置。それを手に入れることは過去から未来までを全て手中に収めるっていうことになるわけだから。
Time travel again. It has the power to grant your dreams, and at the same time, destroy everything you love. I know that better than anyone.
2036年には戦争は終結してるけど、地球はボロボロ。もうさ、人がまともに住める世界じゃないんだ。
It's unbelievable. In the future of the Alpha World Line, CERN used their time machine to fashion a dystopia where no one could oppose their rule. Suzuha traveled to the past to change that. She showed me how to escape that convergence. The result is this, the Beta World Line. Here CERN fails to complete its time machine. But instead 5.7 billion people die in the fires of nuclear war.
そんなのありかよ。
My legs fold beneath me. I sink to my knees.
オカリン、大丈夫？
Mayuri kneels beside me and gently rubs my back. But I'm too stunned to respond to her kindness. I glare at Suzuha. Though I know it's absurd, part of me blames her.
なんでこんなことになってるんだ。お前が言ったんだぞ。ベータ世界線なら平和な未来が待っているって。
We saved Mayuri. We changed the future. And now after everything we did, Suzuha appears before me once again to say that it wasn't enough.
今が未来への大きな分岐点で。
そんなのは知ってる。
だったらわかるでしょ。このままじゃ57億人が死ぬんだよ。戦争が終わったって何も残ってない世界に私たち放り出されるんだよ。あんなひどい世界を変えるために私はここに来たの。そして過去を変えるためにはオカリンおじさんの協力が。
断る。
I reject her plea outright. Suzuha looks hurt, betrayed, like an abandoned puppy. How dare she look at me that way? I borrow Mayuri's shoulder and struggle back to my feet.
俺はアルファ世界線からここに来た。俺の大事な女の子の命を犠牲にしてまでここにたどり着いたんだ。
I can't go back. Not to the world line where Mayuri dies.
57億人が死のうと知ったことかよ。あいつのクリスの犠牲を無駄になんかさせないからな。
One person versus 5.7 billion. They can't be compared. Suzuha is staring at me in disbelief. Mayuri and Daru clearly don't know what to say. I haven't told them what happened, so they can't understand.
つまりおじさんは別のアトラクトフィールドにいたってこと？すごい。それが例のリーディングシュタイナーなんだね。
なぜその名を？
父さんから聞いてる。それに私もオカリンおじさんとは会ったことがあるんだ。未来でね。
俺と？
そっか。そしてそっちのアトラクタフィールドでも私は同じように2010年に来たんだね。
A faint smile flickers across her face. Then she looks at me with renewed intensity.
オカリンおじさん、今おじさんは断るって言ったけど。
そうだ。クリスの死は無駄にしない。マユリを殺させはしない。
マユシは死んじゃうの？さっきから言ってるそのクリスってマキセ・クリスのことだよね。聞いておじさん。もしもだよ。この世界線の未来を変えるために必要なのが2010年7月28日に亡くなったマキセ・クリスを助けることって言ったら。
Shock ripples through my body. What did she say? Save Kurisu? But how? We no longer have the phone wave or the time leap machine, and even if we did, I could never leap that far back. Of course. I look over Suzuha's shoulder at the object disguised as a satellite.
タイムマシン。これがあれば。
It came all the way from 2036. It should have no trouble going back a mere 3 weeks. Even better, this time machine can do what Alpha Suzuha's could not. It can travel to the future. I can go to July 28th, save Kurisu, and return to the present. No demails, no time leaps. Genuine physical time travel. I can't refuse. I literally can't refuse. I saw this time machine once before, on July 28th, that fateful day. Shortly before Kurisu was killed, I saw it standing in this very spot, as sure as it is standing before me now. There's only one thing that can mean. It has already been established that this time machine will appear on that day in this place. Even before I sent the first email, my participation was assured. Even the thought of turning Suzuha down now is meaningless. Nothing is coincidence. Everything is inevitable. The revelation makes me dizzy. It's like I don't have the tiniest atom of free will, like my every action from the moment of my birth was planned for me by some cosmic force.
私が望む世界線は、オカリンおじさんが通ってきたっていう、アルファ世界線だっけ？そこじゃない。目指すべきは、アトラクタフィールドの狭間。
The space between?
どのアトラクタフィールドからも一切干渉を受けない、たった一つの世界線。通称、シュタインズゲート。
But that's the chuny name I pulled out of my ass. It doesn't even mean anything.
シュタインズゲートはさ、まだ誰も見たことのない未知の世界線らしいんだ。
らしいって、それ誰かが観測したんじゃないん？
観測はされてないんだよね。だから未知なわけで。でもシュタインズゲートのダイバージェンスはお父さんとオカリンおじさんとですでに割り出されてるよ。相対値でここからマイナス 0.081609%。そこがシュタインズゲート。
その世界線に到達するために必要な条件がクリスの救出。
そういうこと。第三次世界大戦を回避する鍵なんだよ。彼女が生きていればさ、戦争は起きない。少なくとも57億人も死なないんだ。
なぜだ？なぜクリスなんだ？確かにクリスは天才少女だが、あいつが57億人を救う英雄だっていうのか？
よくわかんない。
わからないって無責任すぎるだろ。
私は父さんの立てた計画通りに動いているだけ。その計画、元はオカリンおじさんが立案したらしいんだけど、だからおじさんの計画が間違ってたら私のやってることも意味がない。
どうしてまた聞きなんだ？直接俺に指示されたわけじゃないのか？
オカリンおじさんは10年ぐらい前、今からだとおよそ15年後、2025年に亡くなった。
The same result is on the Alpha World Line.
だから真相はわからない。父さんはオカリンおじさんの意志を継いで、この計画を実行するためにたった一人でタイムマシンを作り上げた。
That's my super hacker. He must have hacked into CERN and stolen their research, then used it to construct his own time machine. On the Alpha World Line, CERN killed Daru before he could complete the machine. But here, Daru was able to perfect its design. That's why it can go back to the future. At least, that seems the most likely explanation.
オカリンおじさん、その世界線、シュタインズゲートは未知っていうぐらいだから、どんな未来が待っているのか誰も知らない。もしかしたら第三次世界大戦が終結した後で ディストピアが構築されるかもしれない。もしかしたらマキセ・クリスはオカリンおじさんが助けた2日後とかに死んじゃうかもしれない。もしかしたらオカリンおじさんは2025年じゃなくて1週間後に死んじゃうかもしれない。でも同時にもしかしたら2036年になるまで第三次世界大戦も起きないし、ディストピアも構築されないかもしれない。マキセ・クリスも他の誰も死なないかもしれない。素晴らしい未来が待っているかもしれない。少なくとも私がいた2036年でもなく、アルファ世界線の私がいた2036年でもなくなるのは確か。
Is an unknown future really for the best? I would hate for the ending role to say, despite your best efforts, you made everything worse.
先は見えない。完全な未知。
Kurisu can't be saved. I know that. Even if we change the past, convergence will ensure her death, just as it did for Mayuri. It's impossible. There's no way this plan can succeed. In the end, fate will win, as it always has.
それでも言ってくれるなら、それでも私と一緒に7月28日へ飛んでくれるなら、この手を握って。
I look down at Suzuha's hand. Her skin is rough, her palm calloused. This cool, collected, unsmiling Suzuha comes from a ruined world, from the ashes of a war that claimed over 5 billion lives. I can only imagine what she's been through. Kurisu. How I have dreamt of saving her. I would do anything, to change her fate. But how do I know this invitation won't lead me into another maze of despair?
マユシーは今の話、ちんぷんかんぷんなのです。でもね、そのマキセさんっていう人はオカリンにとっては大事な人だったんでしょ。だったら頑張るべきだよ、オカリン。
57億人救えるかどうかってのはちっとも想像できないけどな。ごちゃごちゃ細かいことはいいから、その女の子を助けることだけ考えればいいんじゃね。そうすればモテ期到来確定だし。
Mayuri and Daru offer me encouragement, but it's not enough to overcome my doubt. The Makise Kurisu we knew, lab member 004, is already gone. Even if I save her on this world line, she won't remember any of the time she shared with us. So there's no point. I won't bend time to my convenience, not again. I'm not God. I don't have that right. If I try, I'll just end up making things worse. Reason pleads with me to stop. And yet, I look at Suzuha's outstretched hand, and then, with resignation, I grasp it firmly.
やるよ。
Try though I may to fight it, this choice was made for me on July 28th, the moment I laid eyes upon this time machine.
結局、俺がお前の手を握るように運命は収束するんだろう。
I'm not at all confident that I can save Kurisu. How many times have I tried to resist fate only to fail? I don't want to see her die. But if there is a chance, however small, that she can be saved, I have to try. Even if I can't take back what we had, I want more than anything to save her.
一緒に行くよ。
ありがとう、オカリンおじさん。じゃあ乗って。
ちなみにそのタイムマシン、2人乗り OK なのか。
もちろん、私の父さんが作った最高傑作なんだからさ、当然だって。
誰は娘に愛されてるな。
言葉の意味はよくわからんが、とにかく父さんではなくお兄ちゃんと呼べ。
オカリン、絶対帰ってきてね。行ったまま戻ってこなかったら嫌だよ。
別に違う世界に行くわけじゃない。過去にちょっと戻ってくるだけだ。
I pat Mayuri's arm reassuringly. Then I follow Suzuha to the time machine's hatch and slip inside. The interior is cylindrical and surprisingly tight. When I sit down on the ledge that rims the cylinder, it puts me face to face with Suzuha, kind of like one of those giant teacup rides. There are fewer controls than I expected. The inside definitely looks more refined than what I saw of Suzuha's time machine on the Alpha World line. But one thing remains the same. The time display panel, a black screen with red lettering. I guess that's just Daru's taste.
携帯出して。
When I hand it over, Suzuha casually tosses it out the hatch.
おい、
持っていかない方がいい。混戦するから。
Interference? Oh, I see. We're going to July 28th, so there'll be 2 of me, and if I bring it, 2 of my phone. I guess that could be a problem if I got a call or something. So time travelers really do need to be careful about what they bring to the past.
ハッチ閉めて。
I hear Mayuri and Daru cheering outside. Mayuri caught my phone, thankfully. I give them a final nod, then close the hatch. Silence engulfs us. Suzuha is operating the time display panel. She sets our destination, July 28th, 2010, 11:50 a.m.
時間はこれぐらいでいいかな。
ギリギリすぎないか。
I remember that Dr. Nakabachi's presentation began at 12.
このタイムマシンって場所移動ができないの。
というと、
例えばここ、つまりラジカンの屋上からタイムトラベルを開始した場合、どの時間へ飛んでもラジカン屋上の座標にしか到着しないんだ。まあ本当はもっといろいろ複雑な計算してんだけど、今は説明しない。とにかくそういうことなんで、発表会の前日に飛ぶこともできるけどさ、そのせいで騒ぎになって発表会中止とかになっちゃまずいでしょ。だからむしろ時間ギリギリの方がいい。
なるほど。
おじさんってタイムトラベルは初体験だっけ？
あのな、おじさんと呼ぶのはやめてくれ。タイムリープは腐るほどやったが、タイムトラベルは初めてだ。ジョン・タイター曰く、かなりの G が発生して引っ張られるような感覚があるらしい。
ああ、それ書いたの私。
ジョン・タイターのことか。
そう、2000年に飛んだ時に。
そうか。
The past has changed back, I suppose, from my point of view. When I was on the Alpha World line, I saw tighter posts on that channel in real time. On this world line, those posts were made to an English BBS in the year 2000.
あんまびっくりしないんだね。
Nothing can surprise me now. My brain's too busy trying to process all this new information. Feels like it's gonna blow.
改めてこのミッションについて説明するね。向こうに着いたらのんびり話してる時間はないはずだからさ。目的はマキセ・クリスの死の回避。
Ever since I returned to this world line, I've avoided all news of Karisu's murder. I was afraid of setting that result in stone. So I still don't know who killed Karisu. I don't know how or why she died. I don't know anything at all. If I had known it would come to this, would I have looked things up? I asked myself that question. The answer is no.
アトラクターフィールドによる収束は？
言ったでしょ？その日は分岐点なの。マキセ・クリスの死の可能性は大雑把に計算して 50% なんだよ。
収束は起きないんだな。
起きるかもしれない。うん。 多分起きる。でもきっと抜け道があるはず。その抜け道こそがシュタインズゲートの入り口なの。
So in the end, it's a gamble.
それと一つ忠告を。ドクター中鉢には気をつけて。
どういう意味だ？
私のいた2036年では第三次世界大戦が起きたって言ったよね。その原因をたどっていくと中鉢論文に行き着く。ドクター中鉢が書いたっていうタイムマシンに関する文書なんだけど。
しかし奴のタイムトラベル理論はジョン・タイターのパクリ。
Wait a minute. John Titor's sitting right in front of me.
つまりタイターがネットに書き込んだことは正しいということか。
一部に嘘は混ぜておいたから、私が書き込んだ時はあんまり相手にされなかったんだけど、まさか10年経って再評価されるとはね。私の書いた理論をもとに独自の考えを加えたみたい。その完成度はとても高いらしいんだ。とにかくドクター中鉢はマキセ・クリスの殺された会場にいたんだよね。だから彼には注意しといて。彼もまた世界線を大きく変えるキーマンのはず。
Dr. Nakabachi? Important? I thought he was just some con artist.
じゃあ行くよ。シートベルト締めて。
I look underneath my butt to find what looks like a car seat belt. I wrap it around my waist and fix my body to the seat.
結構揺れるのか？
揺れはほとんどないよ。
You mean it does something else? Wait, is this safe? Suzuha leans forward and pushes a bright yellow button on the bottom of the panel. There are no windows, so I can't tell if the time machine is moving.
たった3週間だからものの 2,3 分で行けるはず。
Suzuha fastens her own seatbelt and sighs.
最初に1975年へ飛んだ時なんかさ、6時間ぐらいかかって暇でしょうがなかったよ。
I guess time travelers have their own problems.
2,3 分だからあえて酸素マスクはしてないけど、タイムトラベルの間この中は無酸素状態になる。
我慢しろと。
ここに。
Suzuha points to the center of the cylinder, the space between me and her.
エアポケットができるの。そこに頭を突っ込んでおけばさ、10分くらいは呼吸できるわけ。
なあ、もし仮にクリスを救うのを失敗したらどうなる？
実はそんなに燃料はなかったりするんだよね。もともと入れておいた燃料はギリギリだから。2036年に帰る分の燃料もなかったり。つまり世界線を変えられなかったら私はこの時代に残るしかないんだ。でも心配しなくてもいいよ。8月20日から7月28日への往復はさ、まだ2回ぐらいなら可能だから。
So what she's really saying is that we only have 2 chances.
燃料がないならどうやって2036年に帰るつもりだ？
帰る予定はないんだよね。シュタインズゲートへ行けたらこの時代にタイムトラベルしてくる理由はなくなるでしょ。因果が再構成されるんだ。ここにいる私は消滅してきっと2036年で平和に暮らしてるはずだよ。というわけでオカリンおじさんの頑張り次第。
Her tone is light, but her expression is serious. This is the first time in weeks that we've spoken, but I just now realized something about her. Suzuha is pretty reckless, isn't she? Suddenly there's a zapping sound, and countless faint silver lights start floating around the cylinder. They look like moth dust, or powdered snow. The light slowly changes color. Violet, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red, back to silver, violet, blue. The colors of the rainbow? I feel pressure on my entire body, similar to the sensation you feel as you ascend in an elevator. In an elevator, you feel as if you're being pulled downward, but instead the time machine feels like it's pulling at my back. The feeling of pressure quickly increases. It starts to feel like I'm falling horizontally. I've never experienced anything like this. It's so uncomfortable, I want to scream. The strangest thing is that the time machine itself isn't shaking. In fact, it doesn't seem to be moving at all. There's no noise, no vibration. It's eerie. The pulling sensation grows even stronger. I can hear my bones creaking. I imagine my body flattened like a pancake. It's not a pleasant thought. It's getting worse. I look at Suzuha. She has her eyes shut and her jaw clenched tight. I can no longer move. It feels like my back is glued to the wall. My vision begins to warp. And within my warping vision, the powder of light still shifts through the colors of the rainbow. It's strangely beautiful, like something out of a painting. And still I keep falling. Where is it taking me? Through a tunnel in space-time? All I know is that I'm falling. Suddenly everything goes dark. I try to scream, but even my voice falls away. It doesn't even reach my own ears. It's gravity. There's an intense gravitational distortion behind me. And I'm still falling towards it. My vision slowly recovers. The smell of ozone fills my nostrils. Suzuha takes a deep breath and unfastens her seatbelt.
着いたよ。
I gulp for air. Did I really just travel through time? If so, then this is July 28th. The day Kurisu and I first met. The day I sent the first email. The day it all began. Suzuha takes out a digital watch. It's a fairly old-fashioned design.
1975年で買ってきたんだ。でもまだ3年も使ってないよ。
This is where an uninformed person would say, in Japanese please. Suzuha sets the watch to the correct time, then hands it to me. The display reads 11:51. Nakabachi's presentation starts at 12.
出るよ。オカリンおじさんはマキセ・クリスをマークして、殺されるのを阻止して。
お前は
サポートに回る。それと携帯を取り上げた理由と関係するけど、ここには7月28日現在のオカリンおじさんもいる。今世界に岡部倫太郎は2人いることになるの。いい？自分自身との接触は絶対避けて。深刻なタイムパラドックスが発生する可能性があるから。
タイターが言っていたことと違うが。
あれは単なるフェイク情報。
Come to think of it, Alpha Suzuha said the stuff she posted about the many worlds interpretation was fake too.
了解だ。
じゃあ状況開始。終わったらこのタイムマシン前に集合ね。
Suzuha finishes her rushed explanation and motions me towards the hatch. I open the hatch and grab the rim. I squeeze my way out. Suzuha crawls out after me and closes the hatch.
おじさんは隠れて。私がおとりになる。
Suzuha runs up to the emergency door. And then, to my astonishment, she draws her gun and fires at the doorknob. The door opens easily. I must have broken the lock. Any minute now, a crowd of people will run up these stairs to see what happened. My past self will be among them. I need to hide before they get here. That was a close one. I nearly bumped into myself on the 8th floor landing. Right after I ran downstairs to the 7th floor, I heard footsteps running the other way behind me. Those footsteps were mine, no doubt. It was a near miss. To be safe, I descend to the 4th floor before stopping to take a breath. I take a look around. There's nobody paying attention to me. I wonder what Suzuha is doing. I'm worried, but I need to focus on my own mission. I must prevent Kurisu's death. In about 30 minutes from now, just after Nakabachi's presentation ends, someone will murder her. I know where it happens. In the 8th floor hallway towards the back of the building where people rarely go. What I don't know is who stabbed her. Instead of running around and drawing attention to myself, I should just wait at the scene. Let's cool off here for about 5 minutes, then head over there. If I remember correctly, Kurisu tried to talk to me in the assembly hall, but I blew her off and came down here. After that, I tried calling Mayuri. Her phone was off and I couldn't get through, so I went back up to the assembly hall to find her. What time was that? I searched my memories trying to plot the actions I took on July 28th. It sounded simple when Suzuha said it, but staying away from my past self is going to take more work than I thought. Frustration mounts. I shoved Suzuha's watch to my pocket to quash it. Just then...
すいません。
that voice. I turn around.
クリス。
私、あなたと面識ありました？
いや。
さっき、このビルの屋上から降りてきましたよね。
She looks at me with those beautiful eyes shining with intelligence and strength of will. I thought I would never see her again. But now before my very eyes is the girl I love. Tears well up in my eyes. I want to embrace her right this instant. It takes everything I have to resist the urge. Don't forget, this is our first meeting. This Kurisu doesn't know me.
屋上で妙な音がしたし、ビルが揺れたように感じたけど、それと何か関係が？一体何があったんですか？ドクター中鉢の仕込みとか言わないですよね。
Why did I have to run into Kurisu of all people? I can't answer. I'm afraid that if I speak, I'll be unable to contain my emotions. The memory of her last smile is burned into my mind, imploring me to act.
聞いてますか？すごい汗ですけど。
Kurisu looks at me with suspicion. What would happen if I were to grab Kurisu and run? Would divergence change? Would her murder be averted? I recall all the times Mayuri died. I recall all the times I time-leaped to save her. Everything I tried ended in vain. I was unable to save her even once. No matter what I did, the world itself killed her. Won't it be the same with Kurisu? Should I even try? I reach towards Kurisu, my hand shaking.
何ですか？
She steps back in surprise and fear, clutching a manila envelope to her chest. This is our first meeting, I know that, but to me she's still the girl I love. If I'd been thinking straight a second ago, I would have realized that my plan to grab her and flee wasn't going to work. Kurisu would never follow some strange man she only just met. Running isn't an option. All I can do is wait at the scene of the crime. Fighting against the urge to stay, I force myself to turn and leave.
質問に答えてください。
But Kurisu pursues me. Why is she so desperate to know who I am? I do look suspicious, I'll admit that. But if she thinks I'm dangerous, why would she come alone? I turn around reluctantly and meet Kurisu's stare.
答えて。
俺はお前を。
Can I really save you? The words catch in my throat. Can I save her? I don't know. All I know is that convergence is merciless and cruel, and that I am powerless to stop it.
何です？
I shake my head, then bolt for the stairs before Kurisu can react.
待ちなさい
When I make it back to the 8th floor, the presentation has already started. I peek in through the door of the assembly hall.
俺が誰なのかはどうでもいい。それより、今あなたが語ったタイムマシンの理論は一体何だ？
Someone in the audience is shouting at Dr. Nakabachi, and that someone is me. Now I remember, I confronted Dr. Nakabachi in the middle of his presentation. I called him a fraud for ripping off John Titor's posts. From this angle, I look like a real asshole.
誰かその男をつまみ出せ。
Staff members approach. Damn, this is embarrassing. But there's nothing I can do here. I need to leave before Kurisu appears. I turn around and head deeper into the dim passage. An image flashes through my mind. She was lying there, at the end of this passage, in a puddle of her own blood. 20 minutes from now, that's exactly what will happen. Can I prevent it? I must, whatever it takes. There's a pile of junk, toolboxes, cardboard, and the like, about halfway down the passage. The perfect hiding spot. I crouch behind them. Now all I have to do is wait for Kurisu to show. But what will I do when she does? Only now do I realize that I'm completely unarmed. I really didn't think this through. Kurisu was lying in a pool of blood. That means her killer had a weapon. Since I didn't hear a gunshot, it must have been a knife or something similar. How am I going to defend her and myself? Is there anything around here that might work as a weapon? I still have about 20 minutes. But one wrong move and someone might catch me. I shouldn't leave this spot. Maybe I'm being overly cautious, but this is my only chance to prevent Kurisu's death. I don't want to jeopardize that. I don't know what I'd do if I ran into Kurisu again. It's a miracle that I managed to tear myself away last time. The longer I wait in the darkness, the harder it becomes. The anticipation is killing me. So far, not a single soul has passed down this hallway. I can faintly hear Nakabachi's voice through the mic from far away, but that's it. The silence does nothing but increase my tension. To make matters worse, it's hot and humid. I guess the air conditioner's not on back here. My entire body's drenched in sweat. I haven't even been hiding for a minute. Sweat drips from my brow to the floor. I rub it with my shoe. I have to keep waiting. There's no other choice. I stay there, crouched in the darkness for what seems an eternity. In the distance, I hear the sound of sparse applause. I glance at Suzuha's watch. It's 12:26. I guess the presentation's over. I peek out from behind the boxes, and just then, I hear footsteps approaching. I quickly duck back behind cover. My heart is pounding. Someone's coming this way. Who? Is it Kurisu's murderer? I clench my teeth and try to drive away the tension. I can only pray that I won't be found. Finally, the footsteps pass right by my hiding spot. Moving only my eyes, I sneak a glance at the person. Kurisu? There's no one with her. I didn't expect Kurisu to be the first person to appear. What is she doing back here? This area is for employees only. Now that I think about it, Kurisu's murder made no sense. Why was she killed in a place she would normally never come? Careful to keep quiet, I watch Kurisu from the shadows. About 5 meters down the hall, she stops walking and leans against a wall. She's holding that manila envelope I saw her with earlier. She peeks inside and smiles softly. Why is she smiling? Kurisu rarely smiles like that. I mean, it's more like her to glare at people. That envelope. I search my memories again. When Kurisu approached me during Nakabachi's presentation, I'm pretty sure she was holding that envelope. But did she have it when I discovered her body? I don't remember seeing it. What could be inside to make Kurisu smile like that? I can't begin to imagine. Kurisu hasn't moved a muscle. She's just standing there, head hung, her face hidden behind her long hair. I can't read her expression. Is she waiting for someone? Who? Who would she meet in a place like this? That's when I hear another set of footsteps approaching. I can't see who it is from where I'm hiding. But given the timing, it has to be the person who killed Kurisu. And as proof, Kurisu raises her head, and upon recognizing the newcomer, lifts her back off the wall, her expression softens slightly. The footsteps come even closer. Who is it?
話がある。
Kurisu suddenly starts speaking. The footsteps pass right by my hiding spot. I'm so tense I can't move a muscle. The newcomer finally appears in my narrow field of vision. And it's...
No!
Dr. Nakabachi. I slap a hand over my mouth to keep from shouting in astonishment. Kurisu and Dr. Nakabachi know each other?
それと一つ忠告を。ドクター中鉢には気をつけて。
Something else occurs to me. Why would Kurisu, an accomplished scientist, attend the presentation of a man like Nakabachi? He's just a 2-bit inventor. Only 15 people came to hear him speak, and that's including trolls like me. There wasn't even any press coverage. Besides, Kurisu hates time travel science. That much was obvious from her lecture at ATF. In that case, it's obvious why she's here. She didn't come to see his presentation. She came to see him. But why? What would be the connection? Wait. It can't be.
聞いてるの？パパ。
Papa. He's her father. Her estranged father who she told me she hadn't seen in 7 years. Kurisu did say that her father was a physicist. And Nakabachi certainly is a physicist, though the scientific community at large has rejected his research. But wait, does this mean that Nakabachi killed his own daughter? Or was it someone else? Someone who is yet to appear? There's no way to know. If I could be sure that Nakabachi was the killer, then I would intervene right now. But I'm not. I'd better keep watching, see what happens.
それはなんだ？
パパがタイムマシンの発表会をすると聞いて、私も考えてみたの。タイムマシンは作れるのかどうか。
Kurisu wrote a paper on time travel? But when she spoke at ATF, she rejected the very idea of time travel. Although come to think of it, she was awfully interested in the phone wave. Damn, I forgot how much of a tsundere she was.
読んでパパの意見を聞かせてほしい。それを踏まえて手直しして学会に出してみようと思ってる。相手にしてもらえないかもしれないけど、一応私サイエンス誌とは面識あるし。
Nakabachi takes out the document and starts reading it with a disgusted frown. So that's what it was. She didn't have anything dangerous in that envelope, like drugs or a gun. It was just some document. But that raises a new question. Could that be the Nakabachi paper? According to Suzuha, that document sparked a time travel arms race that ultimately led to World War III and the deaths of 5.7 billion people.
EU とロシアによる開発競争が火種になって、それにアメリカまでが横やりを入れたから収拾がつかなくなった。
Is that why Kurisu's safety is so important to changing Divergence? I get it now. Nothing is coincidence. Everything is inevitable. Nakabachi flips restlessly through the document. He's not even trying to hide his irritation.
誰がこんなものを書いてこいと言った？
言われてはいないけど、パパが7年ぶりに連絡をくれて発表会を見に来いって言ってくれたでしょ。それがきっかけになったの。それで論文にまとめてみたら、もしかすると作れるかもしれないんじゃないかって思えるようになった。もしその論文が認められたら、学会を追放されたパパのリベンジになるかも。
私は追放されたのではない。
Nakabachi suddenly shrieks at Kurisu, causing her to shrink back in fear.
あの連中は私のレベルの高さに嫉妬するしか能がなかった。そんな奴らに嫌気がさして私の方が見切りをつけたのだ。
怒鳴らないでよ。
Nakabachi gives his daughter a disdainful snort, then goes back to flipping through the paper.
パパって読むの早いね。昔とちっとも変わってない。
Nakabachi even ignores Kurisu's words of endearment.
悪くない内容だ。
本当？この論文はパパと共同署名でもいいと私は思って。
学会には出すな。これは私が預かっておく。
どういうこと？
どういうことだと？わからんのか？たかがサイエンス誌に低レベルな論文が掲載された程度でいい気になるなということだ。なんだ？親に対してその顔は何だ？
ごめん。
An awkward silence follows. I feel no warmth between these two. The only thing I feel is distance. Kurisu, in particular, seems desperate to avoid upsetting her father.
ねえ、久しぶりに会ったことだし、いろいろと話したいんだけど、パパは今、青森に住んでるんだっけ？
Kurisu is trying to maintain a cheerful tone, but I can see that her expression is stiff. I remember how she said she had trouble dealing with her father.
私って父親に嫌われてるのよね。
She looked so lonely when she spoke those words.
帰れ。さっさとアメリカに帰れ。二度と顔を見せるな。
でも
何が意見が聞きたいだ。何が共同署名だ。本心ではそんなことこれっぽっちも思っていないだろうが。
He sounds like a child with an inferiority complex.
私を憐れんどるのか、それとも蔑んどるのか、娘の分際で。
何言ってるのよ。落ち着いて。
私は十分落ち着いておる。指図するな。
This is bad. It's almost time for Kurisu's murder. Was it really Nakabachi, her own father, who killed her?
私が今日この場にお前を呼んだ理由を教えてやる。勝ち誇りたかったのだよ。お前に私の研究の偉大さを見せびらかすことでな。お前が絶望するほどの差を知らしめてやろうとしたのだ。なのにあの妙な若造のせいで全て台無しだ。そしてお前がそんな私を見て鼻で笑っていたのも知っているぞ。どこまで親をバカにすれば気が済む。
笑ってなんて。
この論文に意見が欲しいのか？意見ならここで言ってやる。
Nakabachi rolls right over Kurisu's objections. It's like he doesn't even hear her voice.
この論文は私の名前で発表する。以上だ。
まさかパパ盗むの？
なんだと？
私の論文盗むの？そんなことだけはしない人だって思っていたのに。
Nakabachi suddenly whirls and strikes Kurisu across the face. What do? I know I should do something, but what?
誰に対して口を聞いておるのだ。
Nakabachi throws the paper aside and seizes his daughter by the throat. Kurisu gasps for air. Her face twists in pain as his grip tightens.
お前に私の気持ちがわかるか。なぜお前はそんなに優秀なのだ。私はお前が憎い。存在そのものが疎ましいのだよ。私より優秀な人間などこの世にいてはならんのだ。わかるか。屈辱なのだ。娘が親より優秀でいい道理などない。だから遠ざけた。お前と親子だと思われるのが耐えられなかった。お前がいたせいで、お前のせいで。
This is completely absurd. He's blaming her for his own failures. I've seen enough. He's the killer for sure. I burst from my hiding spot.
よせ
I ram him with my shoulder as hard as I can, knocking him away from Kurisu. Kurisu gasps for breath.
なんだお前は。クリスは殺させない。
I'm going to save Kurisu. I'm going to save her and change the future. Even a weakling like me can pin down an old man like Nakabachi. Then I can get Suzuha to call the police and... The memory of Kurisu's body flashes through my mind. No, it won't turn out like that. Steadying himself with one hand against the wall, Nakabachi gets to his feet and looks straight at me. The instant our eyes meet, his face twists in rage.
お前、さっきのお前のせいで私の発表会は台無しだ。
His presentation? Right, of course. I called him out on his lies in the middle of his presentation. Nakabachi is mistaking me for my past self. Understandable, since we look exactly the same.
よくも抜け抜けと私の前に顔を出せたな。どいつもこいつも私の邪魔ばかりする。さてはお前、クリスと示し合わせていたな。そうだ、そうなんだろう。
He's delusional.
許さんぞ、ガキども。
Nakabachi glares at me with bloodshot eyes, then takes something out of his pocket. At first I can't tell what it is. Then I see it glint in the dim light. A knife. The blade is about 20 centimeters long. I can't help but shiver at its cold shine. Why is he even carrying something like that? Is he completely insane? Wait, is that the weapon that killed Kurisu? I won't let that happen. Damn. Why is my brain so fixated on that scene?
私をバカにするな。
Nakabachi charges like an enraged bull, with no sign of hesitation whatsoever. He raises his knife high. I instinctively dodge back. The knife misses me by a hair. He gathers himself for another strike. The sight of his face twisted in madness and rage fills me with terror. I want to scream. He's going to kill me. No, don't be afraid. I can't die here. The past is already decided. But wait, if the past is already decided, then doesn't that mean I can't save Kurisu? I shake off the thought. Just think about saving her.
謝れ。
Swallowing my fear, I force myself to stop running away. Instead, I lunge forward. I knock Nakabachi's hand aside. The knife falls from his grip and clatters to the floor. I leap on it and pick it up. That was easier than I expected.
指図をするな。
I look up in surprise. Nakabachi has taken a screwdriver from a toolbox left in the passage. Kurisu is walking towards him, pleading with him to stop. She's completely defenseless. No, Kurisu, stay away from him. You're the one in danger, not me. Just when I thought I'd disarmed him, he finds something else. Even a screwdriver can kill with enough force behind it.
クリス、逃げろ。
Kurisu glances at me, but she doesn't move. Why won't she run away?
パパ、バカな真似はやめて。
何がわかる？何がわかる？何が？
Nakabachi has completely lost his mind. Nothing she can say will reach him.
お前さえいなければ。
Nakabachi turns to Kurisu, brandishing his screwdriver. But Kurisu still doesn't run away. Blood spurts from the arm Kurisu used to guard her face. She's going to die. I have to do something. I grip the knife firmly in my hands. Kurisu won't die if I kill Nakabachi first. That image again. Stop getting in my way. I won't be tied to that past. I need to do this. To change the future. To save Kurisu.
Nakabachi!
As Nakabachi raises his arm for another blow, I thrust my knife at his unprotected back. Through the knife, my hand feels resistance. The sensation of tearing through flesh, scraping bone. It's surprisingly tough. But at the same time, I feel the flesh pulsating. It shifts in time with my victim's breath. I stabbed. I stabbed.
なんで
I can't believe my eyes. What happened? I tried to stab Nakabachi. The blade should have pierced his back. And yet... At the last minute, Kurisu forced herself between us as if to protect Nakabachi.
なんで
Strength drains from Kurisu's body. She slumps against me, her head on my shoulder.
バカどもにはふさわしい末路だ。
Laughing maniacally, Nakabachi picks up the dropped thesis and runs to the elevator at the far end of the hall. I can't chase him. I know it's going to happen if I don't stop him, but I can't take a single step. Is this the joke? Is this the punchline? I wanted to know who killed Kurisu. And now...
ごめんね。
Kurisu speaks. Her voice is barely a whisper. I feel something wet on my hands. Wet and warm. Blood. Kurisu's blood. Gushing from her wound. It's warm, but not hot. And yet, it feels like it's burning my hands. I try to pull the knife out. If I can stop the bleeding, maybe she'll be okay. But my hands won't move. It's like they've turned to stone. My arms, my fingers. No matter how hard I try, they won't move an inch. Kurisu's breathing quickly grows labored. She's suffering. I didn't mean for this to happen. This isn't what I wanted. Why won't my hands move? I want to pull out the knife. I want to ease her pain. Why won't my body obey me? It's as if someone else is in control. Kurisu's body convulses against mine. The pain must be unbearable. Is there nothing I can do to help her? I want to cry.
どうして
The only thing I can do is ask.
あれでも父親だから私ずっと認められたかった。パパに認めて欲しくていつも勉強 今さらわかった。パパは私なんて認めたくなかった。バカみたいよね。なのになんで私パパをかばったのかな。ごめんなさい。見ず知らずのあなたを巻き込んで。いた。私死ぬのかな。死にたくないよ。こんな終わり。いや。
Her voice is fading fast. Don't die. Please don't die on me. But my prayers are in vain.
助けて。
Her body suddenly grows heavy. I can no longer hear the sound of her breathing, and yet the blood from her wound is still warm. I killed her. I killed her. The one who killed Kurisu was me. As I scream, another me looks down from above. As he hears the sound of my despair, the last piece of the puzzle clicks into place. The scream I heard that day was my own.
おかりおじさん。
Someone pulls at my arm.
おじさん。
I feel hands slip under my shoulders and drag me away. The knife in my hands pulls free of Kurisu's chest. A fresh torrent of blood follows it. Still warm.
クリス、目を開けてくれよ。起きろよ。
しっかりして、おじさん。今すぐここを離れないと人が来ちゃう。
ごめん。殺すつもりなかった。俺は助けようと。なんでこんな。
Someone puts my arm over their shoulder and hauls me to my feet, then drags me away step by step. I don't have the strength to resist. Guilt and regret are the only things inside of me. I killed Kurisu. Twice.
とにかく戻らなきゃ。おじさん、まだ諦めちゃダメ。大丈夫だから、きっと大丈夫だから。しっかり捕まってて。
I feel someone push me hard from behind. Next, they take the knife away. My fingers are like solid rock. They have to be pried open one by one. I failed to save Kurisu. Worse, convergence made me kill her. The past has already been decided. It was impossible to change it from the start. Someone drags me out of the time machine. I crumple on the spot, powerless to even stand.
うお、もう帰ってきたお。まだ1分も経ってないのに。
おかり
Mayuri rushes over to me. She looks at my face in concern. But even her concern is too much for me to bear. Please don't talk to me. Just leave me alone.
オカリン血まみれじゃん。どうしたん？
父さん、タオルと水、あと服も今すぐ手に入れてきて。
どういうことか説明プリーズ。
いいから早く。
わかったお。
Daru runs back inside the building.
おかり、大丈夫？しっかりして、死なないで。大丈夫。怪我してるわけじゃないよ。
Leave me alone. I don't deserve your concern. Save Kurisu? What a joke. Not only did I fail to save her, I took her life with my own 2 hands. 3 weeks ago, in this very spot, I killed her. I murdered her.
無駄だったんだ。何をやっても無駄だ。全部決まってしまっていることなんだよ。同じだ。参りの時と同じなんだ。どれだけもがいたって結果は同じになる。
We have a time machine. Shouldn't we give it another try? No, it's not that simple. No matter how many times I try, the result will converge on Kurisu's death. Even if I throw the knife away, fate will find some other way to kill Kurisu. Maybe Nakabachi will kill her. Maybe I'll trip and push her down the stairs. Maybe she'll just drop dead for no reason. The cause doesn't matter. The effect will always be the same. It doesn't matter if I time leap or if I time travel. Going to the past can't change the result. Maybe a D-mail could shift divergence enough to take us to another attractor field, but there's no way to control what might happen. D-mail is a shot in the dark. It's useless. Useless. Everything is useless.
無駄だよ。無駄なんだ。何もかも無駄なんだよ。俺はやっぱりクリスを助けられないんだ。分かってた。分かってたんだ。こうなるって予想してたんだ。もう疲れた。ずっと休んでないんだ。だからもういいよ。
So right about at this point would be where the divergence would happen that would lead to the Steins Gate Zero storyline. Just wanted to throw that out there in case you were curious, because we're about to get the canonical ending to what should be the entire Steins Gate universe. But right about now is where Zero's storyline would pick up. A burning numbness spreads through my cheek. Mayuri hit me.
何を？
She's never done anything like this before. The shock is enough to bring me to my senses. Mayuri looks at me with tears streaming down her cheeks. Her small body gently embraces mine, though I'm still covered in Karisu's blood.
オカリンは途中で諦める人じゃないよ。マユシーは知ってるもん。いつもね、絶対に最後まで諦めたりしない。覚えてる？マユシーがおばあちゃんのお墓の前で毎日助けてって心の中でつぶやいていたとき、オカリンも毎日マユシーに会いに来てくれたよね。雨の日も雪の日も諦めずにマユシーの横に来て、マユシーの名前ずっと呼び続けてくれたよね。マユシーはね、オカリンが最後までそばにいてくれたから、おばあちゃんとしっかりお別れすることができたんだよ。ね。だからオカリン、マユシーはよくわからないけど、諦めちゃダメだよ。元気出してほしいよ。
Mayuri's gentle warmth envelops me. I cling to that warmth, but it's not enough to heal my heart.
でも俺が殺してしまったんだ。
The person most precious to me, who I wanted so desperately to save.
俺が殺した。
オカリン。
I can still feel the knife in my hand. I can still feel her fading heartbeat. I look at my hands over Mayuri's shoulder. They're red with blood, Karisu's blood. The shaking won't stop. Tears fall, washing away the blood. Guilt and despair are tearing my soul. If Suzuha hadn't taken the knife, I might have slit my own throat in that very spot. This reality is too much to bear. But I realize that this is retribution, my just punishment for taking the godlike power of time travel and using it to distort the past. Kurisu can't be saved. That has been proved beyond a doubt. At the very least, I can't save her. Not even with Mayuri's encouragement.
無駄なんだ。
無駄じゃないよ。
Suzuha speaks, her voice full of conviction, and immediately afterwards, I hear a familiar melody, my male tone. Mayuri takes my phone out of her pocket. She's been looking after it.
オカリン、メールが。
Mayuri gently puts my phone in my hand. I don't have the energy to check my mail, but for some reason, Suzuha gestures for me to look at it. I reluctantly open my inbox. What? Turn on the TV. That's all it says. The sender is unfamiliar. Is this a prank? Spam? I'm bewildered. I don't know who sent this. But then I happen to glance at the send time, and the shock is like a lightning bolt to the brain. The date it was sent, August 21st, 2025.
2025年。
No, is this? It doesn't even occur to me to wonder if my phone is malfunctioned. After all, I know this phenomenon.
D メール。
I look up at Suzuha. She sees my confusion and looks at my phone.
聞いた通りだ。本当に届いた。
Judging by her surprise, I guess she doesn't know much. Suzuha leapt from 2036. That's 11 years after this email was sent. Does that mean it's not related to her?
テレビってどういうことなのかな。見ろって書いてあるじゃん。何かを伝えたいんだよ。
おい、買ってきたおー。
Daru comes back with a convenience store bag, right on time. Fortunately, my phone has TV reception. As soon as I switch it on, I see a news reporter standing in some foreign airport. There's a jumbo jet in the background. Looking closer, I see burns near the plane's tail. The caption says, "Fire on Russian airlines."
成田発モスクワ行きのロシアン航空801便が飛行中に火災事故を起こしたとロシア当局から発表がありました。ロシアン航空801便は日本時間11時5分に成田空港を出発しましたが、モスクワへの到着直前になって貨物室から火災が発生。ドモジェドボ国際空港に緊急着陸し、速やかに乗客の避難が行われました。この事故での死傷者はありません。事故を起こしたロシアン航空801便にはロシアへの亡命を表明していた日本の
The screen changes, and the camera cuts to what appears to be the airport lobby. A man is standing there, surrounded by reporters. When I see his face, my breath catches in my throat.
ドクター中鉢。
ドクター中鉢氏こと牧瀬正一さんが乗っており、先ほど現地にて報道陣に向けてコメントしました。
I still haven't recovered from the shock of murdering Kurisu. The images on the TV seem like something from a dream. Did they say Nakabachi sought asylum in Russia? I didn't think people still did that in this day and age. I mean, all you need is a passport to travel to Russia.
無事にこの素晴らしきロシアに亡命することができて実に喜ばしい限りだ。私を受け入れてくれたロシア政府には深く感謝している。
What happened on the plane reads the subtitles at the bottom of the screen.
機内が焦げ臭かったが、私は全く冷静だったよ。一部の乗客が騒いでいたが、私が一括してやるとおとなしくなった。
Nakabachi responds confidently. He certainly doesn't look like a man who could strangle his own daughter.
無事着陸させた機長には賛辞を送りたいね。彼はこの私と私が書いた人類史に残る論文を救ったという意味でまさに英雄だよ。
The subtitles change to, "Is that thesis related to your request for asylum?" Nakabachi nods theatrically.
いかにも。もしこの論文が失われたら、人類科学の発展は100年の遅れを見ることになっただろう。未来の人類の在り方を決定づけるほどに重大な論文なのだよ、これは。
What is your thesis about?
人類史上初のタイムトラベル実現に関する論文だ。わかるかね？タイムトラベルだよ。この私、ドクター中鉢がその発明に世界で初めて成功したのだ。
Nakabachi's tone quickly grows feverish. Now he's talking directly to the camera. Moreover, he's not talking about the accident at all. He's just promoting his research. He presents something to the camera. In the envelope, the one Kurisu gave him.
この中だ。この中に私がまとめた人類の夢が詰まっておる。近いうちに学会で発表する予定だがね。その時全人類は驚愕し、やがて私を称えることになるだろう。
I have no right to condemn Nakabachi for his actions, not when it was my hand that took Kurisu's life. But at the same time, I can't stop myself from recalling the words Kurisu spoke that hurt, betrayed tone that triggered Nakabachi's violence.
私の論文盗むの？そんなことだけはしない人だって思っていたのに。
Do those words not echo in his ears too? How can he stand there and present his murdered daughter's work as if it were his own, and look so proud of himself while doing it? I hear my teeth grinding in my head.
もともとこの封筒はスーツケースに入れて貨物室に預ける予定だった。実際そうしていたら、論文は貨物室で焼け焦げ、人類の夢はそこで終わってしまっただろうな。しかし、まるで神が私に世界にドクター中鉢の偉大さを知らしめようと言わんばかりに、こんな運命のいたずらを起こした。
Nakabachi thrusts his open hand at the camera.
その神による技がこれだ。これが封筒に入っていたおかげで、荷物を預ける際に金属探知機に引っかかってしまってな。私は封筒だけをスーツケースから出して機内に持ち込んだのだ。先ほど機長は英雄だと言ったが、人類の夢を守った真の英雄はこの小さな人形であるとも言えよう。
Sitting in the palm of his hand is a lump of silvery metal barely 5 centimeters tall. Mayuri points at the screen. I look closer. That lump of metal in Nakabachi's hand. It's not just any lump of metal.
あの時なくしたメタルウーパだ。ほらほら見て、マユシーのサインが入ってる。
Upa is a mascot character from the popular card game Rynet Axis Battlers. You can see Upa merchandise everywhere in Akihabara, from capsule toys to phone straps and other accessories. But of all Upa merchandise, the most rare is the metal Upa. The very same metal Upa that Nakabachi is presenting to the camera. Near the bottom of the metal Upa, I can see cute letters written in bright red magic marker. The letters read, Mayushi's.
マジだ。なんでそれをドクター中鉢が。
あの発表会の会場でね、落としちゃったの。探したけど見つからなくて諦めてたんだけど、このおじさんが持ってたんだ。ロシアじゃ返してもらいに行けないよ。
I stare at the screen in disbelief. My body is shaking. Goosebumps break out over every inch of flesh. I know what this is.
バタフライエフェクト。
3 weeks ago, Mayuri dropped her metal Upa in the assembly hall of Raidekon. That tiny figure, a mere child's toy, went on to decide the fate of mankind. It rescued the Nakabachi paper from the fire. And in doing so, it laid the foundation for World War III.
鈴葉、お前はこれを知っていたのか。
Suzuha answers with a look of apology.
さっきの2025年からの D メールは誰が送ってきたんだ。
Whoever it was clearly meant for us to see the news about Dr. Nakabachi.
ごめん。
Sorry? About what? What is she apologizing for?
ちゃんと説明しなくてごめん。でもさ、どうしてもオカリンおじさんには一度マキセ・クリスの命を救うのを失敗してもらわなくちゃいけなかったんだ。
What?
俺を騙したのか。
騙したわけじゃない。段取りとして必要なことらしいの。そう指示された。
Told? By whom?
オカリンおじさんに辛い思いさせちゃったことは謝る。
どういうことか説明しろ。
その必要はないよ。
Suzuha points to the phone in my hand.
聞けばわかる。
聞くって何を。
その携帯にもうすでに入ってるはずだよ。2025年の オカリンおじさん自身からの伝言が。
え？
ムービーメール。その携帯に受信してるよね。
はっ！
She's right. When was that again? July 28th, right after I met Kurisu for the first time. Just as I was about to contact my Yuri, I received a mysterious video mail from an address I had never seen before. Is that what she's talking about?
だが、何も映っていなかった。ノイズしか入っていなかった。
今なら
Suzuha grins.
マキセ・クリスの命を救うのに一度失敗した今なら見ることができるはずだよ。
Are you kidding me? Is that even possible? I'm not convinced, but I check my phone anyway just to be sure. And there I find a saved video mail. When I check the sender's address, I realize that it's from the same address as the D-mail just now. So they're from the same person, and this person is me in 15 years? 15 years, 2025, the year I die, according to Suzuha. I sent this message on the eve of my death, a message to myself in 2010. Suzuha said that there was a plan to reach Steins Gate. Could that plan be in this video? Mayuri and Daru peek over my shoulder. I take a deep breath and press play with a trembling finger. Nothing appears on the screen but noise. Nothing has changed after all. There's no hidden message or anything. The noise suddenly dissolves, revealing the silhouette of a man. It looks like the video was shot somewhere dark. I can't see the man's face. Unkempt hair, a lab coat, that's all I can make out.
この人が15年後のオカリンなん？
きっとそうだよ。あのね、なんとなくオカリンに似てる気がするもん。
Really? Is this guy really me? My phone's tiny screen has become a window onto the future. I can't believe I'm about to hear a message from myself.
メールは受け取ったか？テレビニュースを見るんだ。すでに見たならば、このまま聞いてくれ。
So that last mail was from him, from me. It doesn't feel real.
はじめまして。だな。15年前の俺。
15年後のオカリン、声が渋くなってるよ。
俺は2025年からこうしてムービーメールを送っている。原理については D メールと同じだ。お前はこのベータ世界線到達とともに電話レンジカッコ仮を破棄した。そうだな。しかし俺は、お前は1年もしないうちに再びタイムトラベル理論と向き合うことになる。向き合ってもう14年。それが俺というわけだ。その過程で36バイト以上の容量を送信可能な D メール送信装置も作ることに成功した。このムービーメールを聞いているということは、お前はクリスを救うことに失敗したということだな。さぞ辛かっただろう。お前の気持ちはよくわかる。なぜなら俺は15年後のお前なんだからな。そうだ。俺も失敗した。失敗したまま15年が過ぎたよ。なぜお前にあえて失敗させたかわかるか？必要なことだった。その失敗後の15年間、 俺に執念を与えてもらうためにな。お前はクリスを助けようとして失敗した。お前自身がクリスを殺した。その悔しさ、その罪悪感が2025年にこの計画を完成させた俺へとつながったのだ。その執念があったからこそ、俺はこのムービーメールをお前へと届けることができたのだ。知っての通り、世界はアトラクタフィールドにより収束を起こす。普通にタイムトラベルするだけではクリスを助けることはできない。だからあえて一度失敗することでこうして因果を作った。下ごしらえのようなものだ。お前が失敗してくれたおかげでこの15年俺はひたすら研究に明け暮れた。ドクター中鉢が世界にタイムトラベルの論争をもたらし、世界中が戦争への道にひた走る中で、俺は地下に潜って独自にタイムトラベルの研究を続けた。鈴葉が使っているタイムマシンは俺とダルの研究の賜物だが、その基礎理論はセルンが構築し、お前がなかったことにしてきた世界線においてマキセ・クリスが発展させたものだ。型式は C204 型。 C とはクリスティーナの頭文字だ。それが意味するところは理解してもらえると思う。とにかく因果は成立した。計画の最終段階について話そう。ダイバージェンスを変え未知の世界線シュタインズゲートへ到達する計画だ。ちなみにシュタインズゲートと命名したのは俺だ。なぜシュタインズゲートなのかはお前ならわかるはず。特に意味はない。そうだろう。そのシュタインズゲートへ到達するのに必要な条件は2点ある。1つ、マキセ・クリスの命を救うこと。1つ、ドクター中鉢がロシアに持ち込んだ中鉢論文をこの世から葬り去ること。だがその過去を変えようとしても無駄だった。お前は今そう思ったはずだ。世界は収束してしまう。その力が過去改変を許してくれなかった。そうだな。だが方法が間違っているだけだ。お前はクリスを助けることができる。いいか、よく聞くんだ。あの日7月28日、最初のお前は何も知らずにドクター中鉢の発表会に来ていたはずだ。その最初のお前自身が見たことをなかったことにしてはならない。それは確定した過去であり、世界線が収束した結果だからだ。だが騙すことはできる。どういうことだと言いたいのだろう。そう焦るな。これから説明する。騙す相手はお前自身だ。最初のお前は血まみれで倒れているマキセ・クリスを目撃している。それを見ていなければこれまでのお前、さらにはこれまでの俺のあらゆる行動がタイムパラドックスとなることはわかるか。クリスの死を目撃したお前が D メールを送ったことで、それはエシロンに捕らえられてセルンの知るところとなった。アルファ世界線で経験したことを思い出せ。そこで起きたのはマユリの死だけではないはずだ。お前は生きているクリスと再会した。彼女を無理やりラボ面に迎え、共にタイムリープマシンを作った。わずか3週間だったが、お前はマキセ・クリスという一人の人間と共に過ごしたんだ。今そこにいるお前は、今ここにいる俺は、7月28日にクリスが死んだこのベータ世界線だけで生きてきた岡部倫太郎ではない。お前の記憶にはアルファ世界線へ行き、クリスと共に生き、マユリを救うために多くの思いを犠牲にして、それでももがき続けた3週間の経験が存在しているはずだ。血まみれでラジガンの暗い通路に倒れているクリスの姿を見なければ、お前はダルに D メールを送ることもなかったし、それがエシロンに捕らえられることもなかった。その後クリスに再会した時、お前が妙なことを口走ることもなく、クリスがお前に興味を抱くこともなかった。そして今そこに立つお前がタイムトラベルしてでもクリスを助けたいと思うこともなかったんだ。2025年の俺がシュタインズゲートに到達するための計画を立てることもなく、2025年の俺がこうしてお前にムービーメールを送ることもなく、ダルと共に2036年までにタイムマシンを完成させることもなく、鈴葉がタイムマシンでお前の元へ現れることもなかった。お前が経験したわずか3週間の世界線漂流を否定してはいけない。なかったことにしてはいけない。いくつもの世界線を旅してきたからこそ、クリスを助けたいと強く願うお前がそこにいる。クリスを助けたいと願い、その後の人生全てをタイムマシン開発に捧げた2025年の俺がいる。お前が立っているその場所は、俺たちがクリスを助けたいと願ったからこそ到達できた瞬間なんだ。世界線をどれか一つでも移動しなかった俺では、その瞬間へは到達できなかったんだ。全て意味があったことなんだよ。俺の計画の下準備は完了した。あとはお前次第だ。最終ミッション、オペレーションスクルドの概要を説明する。確定した過去を変えずに結果を変えろ。血まみれで倒れているマキセ・クリスト、それを目撃した岡部倫太郎、その過去は確定している。だが逆に言えば、確定しているのはそれだけだ。最初のお前を騙せ、世界を騙せ。それがシュタインズゲートに到達するための選択だ。健闘を祈るぞ、狂気のマッドサイエンティストよ。エル、プサイ、コングル。
And with that, the video ends. Mahiri and Daru looked dumbfounded. They obviously didn't understand a single word. I, however. Laughter bubbles up from the depths of my soul. Not minutes ago, I was lost in despair. I was ready to kill myself for what I had done. But now, I'm laughing. Operation Scold. El Sai Kangaroo.
33歳にもなって何をバカなこと言ってるんだ俺は。最初の俺を騙せとか世界を騙せとか中二病もいいところじゃないか。
It's pathetic, laughable, a juvenile fantasy. But at the same time, it feels right.
いいだろう、やってやる。それがシュタインズゲートの選択だというのならばな。俺は狂気のマッドサイエンティスト法院京馬。世界を騙すなど造作もない。やはりこの俺が世界を変えてやらねばならないようだな。
うわ、ここ何日かやけに真面目だったのに、またいつものオカリンに戻っちゃったじゃん。
でもねマユシーはこっちのオカリンの方が好きだよ。
ま、そうだけどさ、オカリンが変人じゃなきゃ僕も調子出ねえし。
法王院京馬はね、昔マユシーのことも助けてくれたんだよ。だから今度もね、きっとマキセクリスさんを助けられるよ。
でもさ、今のムービーメールって結局どういう意味なん？世界を騙せとか意味不明だわな。
それはね、マユシーもさっぱりなのです。
お前たちそんなこともわからないのか。確定した過去は血まみれで倒れているマキセクリスト、それを目撃した俺だけ。それ以上でもそれ以下でもない。クリスが血まみれで倒れていたのを見ただけ。そのクリスが生きていたのか死んでいたのかについて俺は観測していない。
Isn't that right, future me? Mayuri tilts her head. She still doesn't get it.
つまりあの時の場面についてこういう可能性だって考えられるわけだ。クリスはぶちまけられた赤いペンキの上にうつ伏せに倒れて寝ていた。
そうだったんだ。
Mayuri's eyes open wide in wonder. I give up. She's not going to understand.
ちょい待ち。でもさ、マキセ・クリスの事件のことはニュースなんかでも結構報じられてるわけで。
今は関係ないよ。あの日7月28日のオカリンおじさんが何を観測したかが問題なの。
そうなん？
Really? And that's because I'm not the Okabe Rintaro who lived on the Beta World Line after Kurisu died. I traveled to the Alpha World Line and back. I'm not bound by whatever effect Kurisu's death may have during that time.
だから俺がやれることはあの日俺が見た光景だけを再現すること。クリスを死なせないようにしてな。
それと中鉢論文をこの世から葬り去らないといけない。できる？
誰に物を言っているのだ、バイト戦士よ。
バイト戦士？
あえてもう一度言おう。この俺は狂気のマッドサイエンティスト法王院京馬である。
I disregard the blank stares of my comrades and brush back my hair with a flourish.
すでにオペレーションスキルドは俺の中で見えている。だが準備が必要だ。30分くれ。
Suzuha tightens her expression and nods firmly. I squat against the roof's chain fence with my eyes closed. To refresh my memory, I pull out the drawers of my mental archive and sort through each file one by one. My actions that day, Mayuri's actions, my conversation with Kurisu, Nakabachi's presentation. With those memories to guide me, I begin to draw up a plan for how to complete my mission.
おかりー、取ってきたよー。
I open my eyes once I hear Mayuri's voice.
よし。
I take a deep breath and stand up. Mayuri's faster on her feet than Daro and I are, so I had her pick up some things for me. She went all the way to the lab and back in the sweltering heat, but she's not even breathing hard. She runs up to me with a triumphant smile, almost like a playful puppy shaking her tail.
これでよかったかな。
In her hand is a plastic stick about 30 centimeters long. I take it and nod in satisfaction.
いい働きだぞ、マユリ。
おかりの役に立ててね。まゆしも嬉しいよ。あ、それとね、ついでにこれも。
She hands me a banana. I guess she's telling me not to time travel on an empty stomach.
それは何？バナナだよ。じゃなくて、そっちの棒みたいなやつ。
これは棒ではなく剣だ。我がラボの発明品、未来ガジェット6号サイリウムセーバー。
サイリウムセーバー？
赤色のサイリウムだお。アイドルや声優のライブには欠かせないんだな、これが。
だがただのサイリウムではない。セーバーというネーミングの通り、剣の形になっているため、スパークウォーズごっこも可能なのだ。
わあ、すごい。
しかも同時に血のりを生成することができるぞ。先端部分のキャップを取り外せば、ドロリとした血が溢れ出す。
一体何を狙って作ったのかさっぱりわかんないけど。
よりリアルなチャンバラごっこができるじゃん。
全ては必然だったということだ。
やろうとしてることは分かった。その血のりをマキセ・クリスの血に見せかけるんだね。
いかにも。
I stuff my cheeks with banana, enraptured by my own genius. I truly am a mad scientist. I put the Silume saber into my pocket. It's about 30 centimeters long, so it sticks out a little, but I don't mind. I had Daru buy me a stun gun earlier. I pocket that too. With this, my preparations are complete. I give Suzuha a glance.
おかりんおじさん、もう一度あの日へ飛ぼう。7月28日へ。タイムマシンの燃料はあと1回往復する分しか残ってない。残るチャンスはただ一度だっていうこと。いける？
任せろ。俺が世界を変えてやる。
I follow Suzuha into the time machine. While waiting for Mayuri to return, I asked Suzuha if there was a chance that I might run into myself from last time. In other words, the me who killed Kurisu. She replied that wasn't possible. The world line where I killed Kurisu is minutely different from the one to which the time machine will take us. Time travel has a very small effect on divergence, much too small to cause any noticeable changes, but enough to ensure that there can never be two versions of the same time traveler. However, it is important to remember that world lines are not parallel worlds. Ultimately, attractor field convergence merges them into a single world line. My actions are not meaningless. If I succeed in deceiving both myself and the world, the entire universe will converge upon a different future.
おか
Mayuri leans through the hatch and gently strokes my cheek.
きっと帰ってきてね。
当たり前だ。
I return the smile and give her a thumbs up. I close the hatch as Daru and Mayuri see me off with words of encouragement. Suzuha is already operating the time machine.
このミッションには未来の運命もかかってる。
Suzuha speaks as she presses some buttons.
頼むよ。おじさん。
Instead of answering, I close my eyes. I find myself strangely calm. No impatience, no tension, none of the anxiety I felt the first time. How many times have I tasted failure? My hubris hurt those closest to me. My foolishness cost them their dreams. And even though those mistakes have been undone, the memories still remain as a brand on my heart.
お前が経験したわずか3週間の世界線漂流を否定してはいけない。なかったことにしてはいけない。
It all meant something. Every mistake, every sacrifice. Without them, I would not be standing here now. From that knowledge I draw strength, confidence, and pride. The memories I shoulder deserve nothing less. And so, I am no longer afraid. I will reach the unknown world line, Steins Gate. Its future is uncertain. That is how it should be. For once, I need not worry what fate has in store. Only one thing matters now. Saving Kurisu. Gravity pulls at my back. Rainbow light starts drifting through the compartment. It's time. This is my Ragnarok. I exit the time machine onto the familiar rooftop. As before, it's empty. I can see the top of the train station a short distance away. This is the third time I've been here now. I run through the plan in my head one last time. Time is short, but I have no choice. I have to do it. No, I will do it. Failure isn't an option. I wait for Suzuha to break the lock, then I run inside just like last time. Narrowly avoiding the first me again, I descend to the 7th floor. Last time I went all the way down to the 4th floor, but not this time. I direct my attention to the capsule toy machines near the landing. It's time for step 1. Rainet Kakaru Character Doll Series. This is it. On July 28th, the first me won a super rare metal Upa from this very machine. No time to waste. I insert the 100 yen coin I prepared beforehand and turn the lever hard. The capsule falls into the slot. Just as I grab it,
わはー、ライネットだ。
my heart leaps into my throat. That was Mayuri's voice. She's already here? I quickly turn and leave the area before Mayuri can see my face. Luckily, she's so entranced by the capsule toy machines that she doesn't realize who I am. Once I get down to the 4th floor, I check the contents of the capsule. The metal Upa is inside. This is the prize that was meant for me. Which means the first me will get... The answer is obvious. Phase 1 is complete. Time for Phase 2. I turn around abruptly. Kurisu is standing behind me, her mouth open in surprise. My timing was perfect.
ねえ、あなたさっき屋上から。
俺はお前を。俺はお前を助ける。
Leave everything to me.
どういうこと？
I say no more. If I tell her everything, she'll have no reason to talk to the first me. On July 28th, she came to see me during Nakambachi's presentation. She claimed that I had tried to tell her something, then proceeded to drag me out into the hallway for further questioning. That is part of my experience. This should be enough to ensure that it happens exactly as I remember. I pat Kurisu on the shoulder, then race back up the stairs.
ちょっと、
I run to the 6th floor, then creep up towards the 7th floor landing until I can just make out the capsule toy machines. As expected, there's the first me about to turn the lever in Mayuri's stead.
ウーパだよ。
それはレアなのか？
レアじゃないけどね。すごく可愛いでしょ。マユシーはウーパのことが大好きなのです。
I grinned to myself. It worked. The order changed. Mayuri now has a regular Oopa, not the metal one I gave her the first time. And that means...
本日はドクター中鉢によるタイムマシン発明成功記念会見にお集まりいただき誠にありがとうございます。
The presentation is about to begin. The first me heads up to the 8th floor. But Mayuri doesn't move. She takes out a pen and starts signing the Oopa. Just as planned. When Dr. Nakabachi defected to Russia on August 21st, he had Mayuri's metal Oopa with him. If he has a plastic one instead, it should change the fate of the Nakabachi paper. But one question remains. How exactly did Mayuri's Oopa fall into Dr. Nakabachi's hands? I watch as Mayuri finishes signing her name. She nods in satisfaction, then runs after the first me. Just before she gets to the stairs, she puts the Oopa into her coat pocket. But it doesn't go all the way. As she runs up the stairs, I see it fall out and roll away. Mayuri is completely oblivious. A moment later, she disappears from sight. I look at the Oopa lying on the floor. Does Nakabachi pick it up? How? He's in the middle of his presentation upstairs. He doesn't have any opportunity. That's when Kurisu comes up from downstairs. I quickly hide in the stairwell across the landing. Kurisu reaches the 7th floor without noticing me. She finds the fallen Oopa and picks it up. So it was Kurisu who found the Oopa. The butterfly effect. In 3 weeks, this completely innocuous event changes the outcome of an accidental fire on one of what must be thousands of planes flying that day. By extension, it changes the fate of the entire human race. Kurisu looks curiously at the Oopa, then looks around as if searching for the owner. Of course, Kurisu doesn't know who Mayuri is. At this point in time, those two aren't even acquainted yet. After realizing that there's no one around, Kurisu puts the Oopa into her envelope and goes up to the 8th floor. Now that I've seen what I need to see, I go upstairs too and head to the employee hallway. Here's where it gets serious. I grip the Sayulum saber and shake it silently, thus activating the red fluorescent reaction inside. It'll last about 10 minutes. It should get dim before Kurisu makes her appearance. I know what I need to do. The problem is that my window of opportunity is so slim. Will I be able to handle the enraged Dr. Nakabachi? One mistake and Kurisu will die.
何を恐れる。法院教魔。すべては俺の思惑通りに行くに決まっているさ。オペレーションするのに不備はない。何せこの俺が15年の時をかけて練り上げた計画なのだから、俺を信じる。この法院教魔を信じる。
Hoen Kyoma will save Kurisu. I close my eyes and wait for the time to come, hidden behind the same pile of cardboard boxes as last time. I hear the sound of sparse applause from the event hall, which means I should be hearing footsteps soon. There they are. Kurisu has come, right on time. She leans against the wall and looks inside her envelope, smiling softly as she does. And now, I know the reason behind that smile. It's the Upa inside. She's probably smiling at how adorable it is. That smile really doesn't suit you, Kurisu. I stifle a chuckle. I'm surprised I'm calm enough to feel that way, despite the current situation. Once Nakabachi appears, that's my signal to spring into action. I'll bring out the Sayulum saber as soon as that bastard tries to take out his knife. Then I'll scare him away and stun Kurisu. The stun gun I brought should handle both tasks flawlessly. That's the plan, at least. The next set of footsteps echoes down the hallway. Kurisu looks up. I can't see Nakabachi, but I know it's him.
話がある。聞いてるの？パパ？
Even the words she speaks are the same.
それは何だ？
パパがタイムマシーンの発表会をすると聞いて、私も考えてみたの。タイムマシーンは作れるのかどうか。
The atmosphere is far from pleasant. Nakabachi doesn't even try to hide his displeasure. And the first me is probably at fault for that, at least partially. Looks like it's about time for Nakabachi to go ballistic. I grip the Sayulum saber and make one final check. It's already dimmed down. Now all I have to do is remove the cap at the tip and the fake blood will... My breath catches in my throat. In the darkness of my hiding spot, I bring the Sayulum saber close to my eyes and peer inside. The fake blood has begun to coagulate. No, this shouldn't happen. I was certain the liquid would remain fluid for around 30 minutes after losing luminescence. Was it defective? Come to think of it, we never tested the Sayulum saber. It can only be used once before the tube needs to be replaced. Given the lab's financial situation, we thought it would be a waste to use it, so we never did. How could I have failed to consider this possibility? If I'd had half a brain, I would have brought a spare. This is bad. The plan is falling apart.
私は追放されたのではない。
Nakabachi's shrill shriek startles me.
あの連中は私のレベルの高さに嫉妬するしか能がなかった。そんな奴らに嫌気がさして私の方が見切りをつけたのだ。
怒鳴らないでよ。
Time won't stop for me. How do I recover from this setback? I can't leave. Nakabachi's about to attack his daughter. If I make my appearance after that, it'll be the same as last time. I'll end up killing Kurisu again. No matter what, I can't let that happen. What do I do? Do I go back to the time machine and try again? No, remember what Suzuha said? There's not enough fuel for another trip. This is my last chance.
ねえ、久しぶりに会ったことだし、いろいろと話したいんだけど、パパは今、青森に住んでるんだっけ？
帰れ。え？さっさとアメリカに帰れ。二度と顔を見せるな。
でも
何が意見が聞きたいだ、何が共同証明だ。本心ではそんなことこれっぽっちも思っていないだろうが。
My heart is pounding and sweating like crazy. Feels like I've just run a marathon. I cover my mouth to suppress the sound of my breathing.
私は哀れんどるのか、それとも蔑んどるのか。娘の分際で。
何言ってるのよ。落ち着いて。
私は十分落ち着いておる。指図するな。
Nakabachi is about to snap. Events are proceeding just like last time, barreling inexorably towards disaster. Please, I find myself begging, make time stop. But another voice from within answers. Are you praying, Hoen Kyoma? Have you forgotten?
私が今日この場にお前を呼んだ理由を教えてやる。勝ち誇りたかったのだよ。お前に私の研究の偉大さを見せびらかすことでな。お前が絶望するほどの差を知らしめてやろうとしたのだ。
Change the future. Deceive the world.
なのにあの妙な若造のせいで全て台無しだ。そしてお前がそんな私を見て鼻で笑っていたのも知っているぞ。どこまで親をバカにすれば気が済む。
笑ってなんて。
この論文に意見が欲しいのか？意見ならここで言ってやる。この論文は私の名前で発表する。以上だ。
I won't court the mercy of a heartless god. I will save Kurisu myself. She won't die again. Not at my hands. Not at anyone's.
まさかパパ盗むの？
なんだと？
私の論文盗むの？そんなことだけはしない人だって思っていたのに。
Nakabachi strikes Kurisu on the cheek.
誰に対して口を聞いておるのだ。
It's starting. Nakabachi puts his hands around Kurisu's neck. Her cries of agony fill my ears. There's still a way to prevent Kurisu's death. That puddle of blood I saw beneath Kurisu's body. There's one more way to reproduce it. One more way. One last chance. It's a gamble to be sure. Even if it succeeds, I don't know what effect it might have on the Steins Gate world line.
お前に私の気持ちがわかるか？なぜお前はそんなに優秀なのだ。私はお前が憎い。存在そのものが疎ましいのだよ。私より優秀な人間などこの世にいてはならんのだ。わかるか？屈辱なのだ。娘が親より優秀でいい道理などない。だから遠ざけた。お前と親子だと思われるのが耐えられなかった。お前がいたせいで、お前のせいで。
It matters not. I am Hoen Kyoma, the mad scientist who defies God. My true desire is chaos. I have no need for a predetermined future.
よせ！
Calmly, I step out from my hiding spot. Nakabachi looks at me in disbelief. His eyes are wide and bloodshot.
お前、さっきの。お前のせいで私の発表会は台無しだ。
Nakabachi lets go of Kurisu.
よくも抜けと私の前に顔を出せたな。どいつもこいつも私の邪魔ばかりする。さてはお前、クリスと示し合わせていたな。そうだ、そうなんだろう。許さんぞ、ガキども。
Nakabachi pulls the knife from his pocket. Its blade reflects cold light. Once I see that glint, I laugh disdainfully.
やってみるがいい。
小僧、何者だ。
我が名は法院京馬。
何？
知らないなら覚えておけ。フェニックスの法王に陰、そして凶悪なる真実で法院京馬だ。俺は混沌を望む者、世界の支配構造を破壊する者、そしてお前の野望を打ち砕く者。
Kurisu staggers to her feet, with her hand to her neck.
断る。
I dismiss Kurisu's plea, and instead turn to Nakabachi with my arms spread wide.
どうしたドクター中鉢。お前の威勢は口だけか。この俺を殺すのではなかったのか。もっとも神に等しい力を持つこの俺を殺すことなど お前ごときには無理だろうがな。
ふざけるな。
Nakabachi goes into a frenzy. He charges me with his knife point first. Nakabachi has completely lost his mind. I can see it in his eyes. He won't stop. And if he won't stop, then I'll stop him with my own body.
貴様には俺を殺すことはできない。絶対にな。
死ね
The knife approaches. Its point glitters menacingly in the dim light. Inches away, I don't move a muscle. This is my last chance. I'll do whatever it takes. Intense pain rips through my abdomen. I feel the cold steel sink into my body. He did it. He stabbed me with the knife that killed Kurisu. The pain flares. It feels like my insides are being torn out. Nakabachi yanks out the knife. Blood gushes from the open wound. The iron taste of blood spreads throughout my mouth. Pain threatens to steal away my consciousness. My body's on fire. My vision blurs. I struggle desperately to stay on my feet.
ざまみろ。私をバカにするからだ。
I whip out the stun gun and switch it on. The electric arc crackles to life inches away from Nakabachi's face. He instantly turns pale. I spear him with my glare and take a step forward. A wave of nausea surges over me. Blood spews from my throat. But I don't look away. I keep my eyes fixed on Nakabachi.
よくもやってくれたな。殺してやるよ、じじい。貴様もそっちの娘も全員皆殺しだ。動い
ちゃダメよ。
Kurisu runs up to me. She holds me and supports my body.
横になって、今すぐ救急車を呼ぶから。
What is she doing trying to help me? Didn't she hear me threaten to kill her? You're too soft-hearted for a tsundere. Back when I was trying to save my Eri, you were always the one who saved me. So this time...
お前は俺が助ける。
何を。
Kurisu convulses. Strength leaves the leg she used to support me. She collapses. I'm sorry. I send her my silent apology.
娘は後でたっぷり食べて殺してやる。中鉢、まずは貴様だ。
Nakabachi tosses his knife away with a pitiful cry. He takes a step back, 2 steps back. Firing the stun gun once more does the trick. Nakabachi turns and flees down the hallway towards the elevators. But first, he makes sure to pick up the envelope Kurisu dropped. How shrewd of him. I touch my wound. The lightest touch sends pain coursing through my body. I fall to my knees. I feel faint. The bleeding won't stop. The blood is starting to pool on the floor. I press my hands into the blood. I reach for my stomach, wet and glistening with blood. I take a breath, then drive my fingers into the wound. The pain is like nothing I've ever experienced. Unable to bear it, I throw back my head. I scream until my throat is raw. I can't stop now. Fighting against the urge to faint, I feed strength into my hands and pull the wound wider. My blood paints the floor crimson.
おかりおじさん
Suzuha runs up to me.
その傷、何やってんの？何やってんのよ！バカ、よりによってこんな失敗するなんて。おじさん。
何を勘違いしている。鈴葉、この床を見て気づかないのか。
床？
十分な出血量だ。そう思うだろう。
She looks down and beholds my masterpiece.
血だまりが。
To deceive myself. To deceive the world. The stage is set.
でも、これじゃおじさんが死んじゃうよ。
死ぬわけないだろうが、俺を誰だと思っている。狂気のマッドサイエンティスト、大井京馬だぞ。
おじさん。
If convergence holds, then it's already determined that I don't die. Not here. I die in 2025. That's a fixed event on the Beta World line. That was my bet. I intentionally provoked Nakabachi to rage. I took the knife meant for Kurisu and survived. The wound gave me what I needed to carry out the plan. Though I have to admit, I didn't think it would hurt this much. There's no telling what will happen when we reach Steins Gate. The future of that world line is still undecided. There's no reason it can't include my death. How ironic. I made a bet based on the guarantee that I wouldn't die, but winning that bet makes death a very real possibility. I twist my lips into a smile. Time to put the finishing touch on my masterpiece.
鈴葉、クリスの体を。
Suzuha picks up the unconscious Kurisu. Then she lays her face down on top of my blood puddle. Kurisu doesn't wake up. She's perfectly still. But she's definitely breathing. I stroke her hair gently.
痛かったか。 救うためだったんだ。たとえあの3週間の日々は戻らなくてもお前に生きていてほしかったから。
Even if we reach Steins Gate, even if Kurisu lives, even if I don't die, we'll never meet again. Kurisu will never join the lab. We will never build the time leap machine together. But still, I'm glad I was able to save her.
さよなら。
Please stay unconscious for a while. I need you to deceive the first me. While Suzuha goes to pick up the knife, I use the wall to climb to my feet.
作戦完了。これより帰還する。
おじさん、無茶しすぎだよ。バカにも程がある。
バカとは失礼だな。すべて計画通りだろう。
喋らないで。すぐに戻るから。8月21日に戻るから。なんとか G に耐えてね。ああ、くそ。せめて応急手当てができたらよかったんだけど、これにはそんなの載せてないんだよ。
I feel pressure crush my body. My wound throbs. I feel like groaning, but I bite my lip and bear it. Rainbow lights fill my vision. The time machine is activating. Suzuha wraps my wound with a towel.
ねえ、おじさん。この先にはさ、きっとシュタインズゲートが待ってる。私もおじさんも誰も知らない世界が待ってる。おじさんは生きていて、マキセ・クリスも生きていて、椎名真由里も生きていて、私は2010年にタイムトラベルしてくることはなくて、第三次世界大戦が起きるかどうかはわかんない世界線だけど、セルンのディストピアが構築されるかどうかわかんない世界線だけど。
Someone's warm hand grasps mine. Tightly, tightly.
未来にはさ、希望が満ちてるって信じられるような世界が待ってるよ。
I slowly close my eyes. It's hard to breathe, but my pain feels distant now.
そこに到達したら、きっと私は消える。一緒にシュタインズゲートにたどり着いたことをお祝いすることはできないはずだから、ここでお礼を言っておくよ。
The warmth of her hand slowly fades away.
ありがとう、おじさん。死なないで、生きて。でさ、きっと7年後に会おうね。
It's time to go home. Mayuri and Daru are waiting. And with them, a future that has yet to be written. Of course, we're going to get a stinger after all of that, because why wouldn't we? That's not nearly satisfying enough. I actually completely forgot that that's where the credits roll. It's been a while, but wow. Fairly enjoyable, right? So, I think in this is the first time I've seen this ending in like a year and a half almost. So there's some stuff that kind of escaped me that I didn't quite remember. I think there's a little bit of like some inconsistency in there, in that I don't know if there's like a perfect explanation for why Okabe was able, his future self in 2025, how he was able to essentially demail, or quote similar to demail himself in 2010 without tripping off CERN. I guess the logic there is that CERN isn't around in 2025, so there's no Echelon to catch that. But you would think that Echelon would catch 2010 Okabe receiving a message 15 years in the future. But whatever, just hand wave that away. You don't need to worry about that. Something else that comes to mind is that I really enjoy like seeing the split at where Steins Gate 0 starts, because this is also the first time I've seen this ending since doing Steins Gate 0, since reading that VN. And it kind of makes me realize, because I know how 0 ends, and I know like the strange way that if mages really wanted to, they could keep making like Steins Gate things and them technically be canonical using the weird logic that this universe runs on. So that was really fun. So like if you don't know Zero's premise by now, which I'm sure you probably do, but just in case you don't, if you haven't seen any of the Zero anime or you haven't checked out that sequel yet, Zero is the story of the Okabe that lives to 2025 and sets up Operation Scald. So the version of him that has to live with that guilt of having killed Kurisu and then spending like the rest of his life again researching time travel until finding a way to reach the Steins Gate world line, finding a way that his past self could actually succeed in deceiving the world and all that goodness. And it's really awesome. I like Zero a lot. I don't think it's quite as good as the original Steins Gate, but I do like it. And there's a weird thing about Zero, which is that without having ever seen the Zero anime or having played the visual novel yourself, if you've experienced the true ending to the original, then you already know how Zero has to end. You already know what the ending is. You know what the beginning is, and you know what the ending is for sure, guaranteed. You know that it's going to begin with Okabe refusing to go back a second time after killing Kurisu, and you know it's going to end with him eventually setting up Operation Scald and sending back that message that we just got from himself in the future. But everything in between is kind of like well, what the hell happened? What were the events of the Veda World Line, and how did we get there? It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So we've still got a good few minutes here because we're gonna get like the true satisfying little ribbon that's gonna tie everything together for this ending. Now there's the divergence meter. There's a negative in there, so that's how you know he succeeded. He reached Steins Gate. It's been a month since then. My wound was deep enough to require surgery. If I'd been just 1 hour late getting to the hospital, I would have died from blood loss. The doctor laughed as he told me this. Hilarious. After being cooped up in the hospital for so long, it's exciting to be walking around in Akiba again. I look around to see if Akiba is any different from what I remember, but nothing catches my eye. I just get the feeling that there are more moe shops than before. The mysteries of divergence. I chuckle to myself, then dig into my pocket. Something jingles. There are metal pins inside, 8 of them. The Future Gadget Laboratory's members' badges. They're designed based on the pins Suzuha brought from the future. Which Worldline Suzuha was that again? Anyway, back then, we searched all over Akiba for that pin. And while I was hospitalized, I thought it was the perfect opportunity to ask Daru to have them made. And of course, the one we commissioned to make them was that shady foreign street vendor. The final product is slightly different from Suzuha's, but it's pretty well done. I pass through the archway of the Yanabayashi Shrine and head to the courtyard. There, brandishing a sword with sublime dignity, stands a Miko. The Miko is so lovely that anyone would doubtless stop to stare. But that's not a Miko, and that's not a real sword. That sword is a 980 yen imitation, and that beautiful Miko is a guy. Lukaku lifts his head at the sound of my footsteps.
Okabe-san!
As soon as our eyes meet, he runs up to meet me in a fluster. His eyes are already wet with tears.
退院だったんですか？
ああ、そうだ。
そんな、すみません。僕、何も知らなくて。
知らなくて当然だ。教えていないからな。
でも、無事に退院できてよかったです。僕嬉しい。
And then he starts crying in earnest. Seeing his tears, I feel an urge to pat his head and tell him everything will be alright, but I resist and sigh instead.
それを天然でやっているんだから、そりゃ鮮烈なコスプレデビューも飾るわけだ。ファンクラブまでできてるらしいじゃないか。
Mayuri filled me in on the situation. After years of persistent nagging, she finally convinced Lukaku to cosplay near the end of summer break. It wasn't in time for Komima, but he wore one of Mayuri's costumes to a cosplay event in early September. His cosplay debut was effective. Dozens of photographers took his picture, and the images soon went viral on the net. Try to look up pictures of Lukaku now, and you'll get a ton of hits. He's being swarmed by fans, and since he's what they call a trap, he's popular with girls too. There's some things in this world I just don't understand.
正直、すごく戸惑ってます。
だが、お前のコスプレ姿、俺も生で見てみたかったぞ。
無理です。岡部さんになんて、そんな恥ずかしくて死んじゃいます。
だが楽しかったのだろ？マユリがそう言っていた。
はい。
成長したな、ルカ子。
He's overcome his feelings of inadequacy and accepted himself for who he is. And he even had fun doing it.
岡部さん、じゃなくて、京馬さんが教えてくれた精神残魔流のおかげです。神道滅却できました。
He truly is a worthy disciple.
だがまだまだ油断するな。次なる目標は精神残魔流の極意継承。それさえ得得すれば、お前は己の中に封印されている邪悪な炎に焼かれることもないだろう。その時こそ首都秋葉原を守る巫女漆原ルカの物語は始まるのだ。
始まるって何がでしょうか。
それはしかるべき時が来たら教える。
I reach into my pocket and take out a pen.
ラボメンナンバー006漆原ルカ、お前にこれを授けよ
う。Lukaku nervously accepts the pen with a confused expression.
僕、ラボメンにいつ入ったんでしょう。
その記憶は遥か彼方、あるいは前世まで遡るかもしれない。前世？お前は 生まれた時からすでにラボメンだったのだ。故に誇るがいい。
It's not an exaggeration. It's the truth. Lukaku most likely doesn't remember. But it's okay, even if I'm the only one who does.
嫌か？
いえ、すごく嬉しくて。
He starts crying again.
僕、ずっと京馬さんの研究所の仲間に憧れていて、入りたいなって思っていて、でも勇気がなかったから言い出せなかったんです。ありがとうございます。
He bows his head.
それは世界にたったの8個しかない貴重なものだ。お前を最悪から守ってくれるマジックアイテムでもある。
そうなんですか？
No.
だからなくすなよ。
Lukaku nods with a joyful smile on his face. Too cute.
お帰りなさいませ、ご主人様。
I pass through May Queen's door for the first time in forever. Ferris runs over to greet me. She suddenly links arms with me. At first, I get a little flustered when something soft touches my elbow, but then I break in a cold sweat once I feel the murderous glare of the surrounding Ferris fans.
退院したのかにゃ？
ああ、地獄の底から蘇ってきた。
I tear Ferris off of me and take a deep breath.
さすが法王院の血にゃ。不死鳥の名を抱くのは伊達じゃないにゃ。
I see she's still making up her own backstories for people. It boggles the mind that this crazy cat girl is behind the redevelopment of Akihabara. Maybe this world's just messed up.
マユシーは今日はお休みだにゃ。
知っている。
She shows me to my table, where I order iced coffee.
そうそう、メイクインは2号店を出すことが決まったのにゃ。しかも中央通り沿いなのにゃ。すごいにゃ、すごいにゃ。
そうなのか。どうせ再開発計画の責任者の権限を最大限に利用しているんだろ。
No doubt the recent explosion of Moe shops is her doing. I think she's getting just a little carried away.
今日ま、これはやらなければいけない使命なのにゃ。萌えの力を今こそこの聖地に集結させることで、奴らの来たるべき大攻勢に備えてるのにゃ。
何？奴らが俺が入院している間に目覚めたというのか。
そうにゃ。京馬がいない隙を突かれたにゃ。奴らの負荷が先か、この町のメイド・オブ・エンブリオが先か、一刻を争うのにゃ。フェイリスもライネット AB の大会に出て必死でカルマの充電に努めてるけど、さすがに一人じゃきついにゃ。
What the hell does she mean by karma? Over the past month, Ferris has started participating in Rhinet Access Battlers tournaments. Ferris is the chairman of the Akihabara Redevelopment Project, a high school student, a popular waitress at a maid cafe, the president of the company founded by her father, and the head of the Akiya family. She should be incredibly busy, but I guess she couldn't stay away from Rhinet forever. Anyway, she went to her first official tournament and snatched a dramatic victory. Ferris is even more cheerful than usual now. I guess all it takes to feel fulfilled is to do the things you like to do.
狂気のマッドサイエンティスト、どうかお願いにゃ。奴らをこの町に近づけさせたら全てが汚れてしまうにゃ。
やむを得ないな。そういうことならば俺も契約の履行をせねばなるまい。そうだ、これを渡しておこう。
にゃ。
I take a pen out of my pocket and present it to Ferris.
これは、今日もいつの間にこれを手に入
入院している間に。
心の試練を乗り越えたというのかにゃ。やっぱり京馬は大した男にゃ。
I don't really get what's going on, so let's just nod for now.
ラボ面ナンバー007のピンバッジだ。どうしても俺の助けが欲しいときは、そのピンバッジを握りしめて、ラ・ヨダ・スタセラと唱えるがいい。
Ferris and I smile at each other. And then we high five.
ありがとにゃ。未来ガジェット研究所は秋葉の希望にゃ。今度遊びに行ってもいいかにゃ。
あ、もちろんだ。誰も喜ぶだろ。
When I get back to the lab, I'm startled to find an unexpected visitor.
お、岡部、おめえ退院したのか。
ええ、まあ。
Tenoji Yugo and I are standing out front. Kiryu Moika is with them. The Rounders, who killed my Yuri on another world line. Nai hides behind her father when she sees me, like usual.
そうそう、紹介しとくぜ。
Tenoji indicates Moika with his chin.
今日からうちでバイトすることになった子だ。
Moika bows her head. She's silent as always, but at least she's not holding her phone. I guess that's some improvement.
見ての通り不愛想なやつだが、よろしくやってくれ。
よろしくも何も。指圧師とは顔見知りですよ。
指圧師？誰だそりゃ。
I point to Moika.
シャイニングフィンガー。彼女の能力名です。
Tenoji and Moika ignore me completely.
前にヘンプロの仕事で IBN5100 を一緒に探してくれた。
I got a thank you email from her during my stay in the hospital. That email helped me figure out our relationship on this world line.
ああ、例の幻の PC ってやつか？見つかったのかよ。
Moika shakes her head.
ま、都市伝説みてえなもんだからな。
モエカはなぜブラウン管工房でバイトを？
Did Tenoji tell her who he is? I thought Moika wasn't supposed to know FP's true identity.
私が連れてきたんです。
Nai speaks up in a tiny voice.
それでお父さんに紹介したの。
なるほど。お見合いか。
バカかてめえ。俺が愛してんのは苗とブラウン管だけなんだよ。
お父さん。
それに苗が連れてきたんじゃねえ。正確には転んで怪我してた苗を解放してわざわざここまでついてきてくれたってわけだ。
モエカにそんな親切をする性質があったとは。
で、無職だっつうからそんなら娘が世話になったことだし、うちで働けって話になったわけだ。まさかうちの店でバイトを雇うことになるとはな。
前にも雇っていたじゃないですか。
あ？何寝ぼけたこと言ってんだ。うちはこれまでバイトを使ったことなんてねえよ。
Ah, of course. The Suzuha who worked here was the Suzuha of the Alpha World line. The Suzuha who came from a future ruled by CERN. The current world line has a different future, so she didn't come. The time she spent here never happened.
ま、そういうことならよろしく頼むぞ、モエカ。
This is the perfect opportunity. I take a pen out of my pocket and hand it to Moika.
これは？
いきなりナンパか？うちのバイトに手出してんじゃねえよ。
ラボ面ナンバー005の証であるピンバッジだ。いつでも2階にある我がラボを訪れるがいい。
Moika stares at the pen in her hand.
ただし IBN5100 を探すのにはもう二度と付き合わないからな。
つれねえやつだな。手伝ってやれよ。
断る。この俺は忙しいのだ。
Catch the attention of the rounders again? No thanks. Besides, the three of them are better off if we never find an IBM 5100. Rarely seen typo. I end the conversation with a shrug and head to the stairs.
岡部君。
Moika calls my name. I turn back to see Moika smiling, ever so faintly.
これありがとう。
あ、
The hatred I once felt towards them is gone. I forgave Moika and Tenochi both. Now that I've destroyed our time machine, we can go back to being good neighbors. I won't pry into their secret lives. I won't attempt to fight them either. It's all up to them. However, the affection that Nai showed toward Moika brings an undeniable warmth to my heart. Right as I walk into the lab, I'm greeted by the chiming of a microwave oven.
おかり
Mayuri smiles brightly as she takes her juicy chicken number 1 out of the microwave.
トゥルーおか
もしかしておかえりとおかりんを合体させたのか？
前も言ったよ
Then Mayuri holds out the steaming chicken.
おかりんも食べる退院祝いに1個あげる
I accept the gift of chicken and pop it into my mouth. I guess it's because I've had nothing but crappy hospital food for a month, but it's so delicious I want to cry.
その電子レンジはどこで手に入れた？
We disassembled the phone wave, named subject to change, weeks ago.
ああ、それは僕が手に入れたんだお。
Daru pops out of the development room in all his rotund glory. I wonder if he's making a new future gadget.
買ったのか？
拾ってきたに決まってんだろ、上皇。直すのに苦労した。
ちょっと古いけどねまだ十分使えるよ
さすがスーパーハッカー。その調子で次の未来ガジェット作りも頼むぞ。
それよりおかりんひどいよ
Mayuri suddenly puts on a pout.
今日どうしてマユシーに一言も言わずに退院しちゃったのマユシーとダルくんで病院に行ったらもう退院しましたって看護師さんに言われちゃったんだから
ナースエロかったよナース。僕がオカリンの代わりに入院したかった。
マユリ、お前は俺の保護者になったつもりか？ずいぶん出世したな。だが勘違いするな。お前はあくまで俺の非保護者だ。
おしめのお世話もしてあげたのに。
I couldn't move at all after the operation, so my mother and Mayuri made the great effort of coming to care for me. Especially Mayuri. Even though it was her summer break, she visited me every day. I'm grateful for this childhood friend of mine, from the bottom of my heart. She's a ditz, to be sure, and she seems like she always needs someone to look out for her, but she's actually quite tough for her age.
幼なじみの女子高生におしめの世話してもらうとか羨ましすぎだろマジで。それなんてエロゲ？
I think Daru needs to die for a bit. I bop Mayuri on the head.
今度ジューシー唐揚げナンバーワンを買ってやる。
ほんとありがとうおかり頑張ってお世話してあげた甲斐があったよ
I breathe another sigh of relief when I see Mayuri's innocent smile. Mayuri is still alive. I've seen her die countless times. Though the events of those world lines have been undone, my struggle to escape them was not in vain. If the same thing were to happen again, what would I do? Would I accept her death this time? Or would I try again to save her, even if it meant building another time machine? There's no way to know. The future is undecided. But for now, my Yuri is here. And that means everything to me.
ほら、これ。
I give my Yuri and Daru their pens.
わあ、かわいいね。
おお、ついに完成したん。
My Yuri pins the badge to her chest and shows it off with a pirouette.
これから毎日つけておかなきゃ。そうしないとラボに入れてもらえないもんね。
Nobody really made that rule, but whatever.
でもオカリ、マヨシーはこのピンバッジのデザインを見せてもらった時から一つだけわからないことがあるのです。
なんだ？
文字が書いてあるでしょ？ OSHMKUFA2010 って岡部、椎名、橋田、それと漆原、フェイリス、ここまではわかるんだけどね。その他の M と K と A って誰のことなの？
あ。
M for Makise, K for Kiryu, A for Amane. But the current Mayuri wouldn't understand. Those three were lab mems on a world line undone and forgotten. I haven't told Mayuri and Daru about them. They wouldn't believe me even if I told them, especially about the last initial, A. I mean, how do I tell Daru he's going to have a daughter? I can just imagine his reaction.
僕の嫁となる人は誰なんだろう。ロリ顔の貧乳で、髪は金髪ツインテールで、性格はツンデレで、デレモードの時はすごく甘えてくるエロい子っていうのを個人的に希望。おい。
He'd say something gross like that, no doubt. I remember. As I lay dying in the time machine, Suzuha gripped my hand and said,
そこに到達したらきっと私は消える。一緒にシュタインズゲートにたどり着いたことをお祝いすることはできないはずだから、ここでお礼を言っておくよ。ありがとうおじさん。死なないで生きて。
Just as she predicted, Suzuha vanished the moment we returned August 21st. Right before my very eyes, the time machine was enveloped in rainbow light and disappeared. She was smiling as she faded away. That was proof I had reached Steins Gate, and that's why I don't mourn Suzuha.
でさ、きっと7年後に会おうね。
I don't know what the future will bring. There's still the possibility that Daru won't get married, that Suzuha won't be born. But still, I believe that in 7 years we will meet again. And that's when I will give her this pin, her birthright as LabMem008. Until then, I'll keep it in a safe place. I aimlessly head to town, alone. I want to get a better look at the Steins Gate world line. But try as I may, I can't find anything drastically different. Way back when, Ferris's D-mail erased the Moe shops from Akiba. That time, it was obvious that the world had changed. I feel unsatisfied, so I look up at Radicon. Obviously, there's no satellite stuck on the roof. It's open for business as usual. When I arrived on this world line right after I saw Suzuha disappear, the very first thing I did was ask my Yuri and Daru a question. Have there been any murders at Radicon? As they panicked at the sight of my blood-stained body, they answered that no one had been murdered at Radicon. As we waited for the ambulance to arrive, I had Daru call up the news on my phone. They were running this story about Nakabachi's flight to Russia. This time, Nakabachi looked terribly agitated. His eyes were bloodshot. He was yelling, spraying spit everywhere. His appearance was strikingly similar to how I last saw him in the hallway of Raidekon. To me, his unintelligible rambling was evidence of Operation Skull's success.
ふざけるな！おい、ふざけるな！火災だと？こんなバカなことがあるか！人類の未来に関わる重大な論文が燃えてなくなってしまったのだぞ！悠長にインタビューなどしている場合か！ロシアン航空は絶対に許さん。あの機に乗っていた乗員は全員ぶち殺してやる。金の問題ではない。いいか、もう一度言うぞ。人類の歴史を塗り替えるほどの論文が燃えてしまったのだ。くそー。なぜ私はスーツケースを貨物室などに預けてしまったのだ。自分で持っていればこんなことには。
The subtitles read, "What was your thesis about?"
タイムトラベルだ。過去から未来までのあらゆる時空を支配することさえ可能な発明だったのだ。
The screen immediately returned to the studio, where a female reporter continued.
などと意味不明なことを話していました。繰り返します。ロシアに亡命したドクター中鉢氏こと牧瀬正一氏がモスクワのドモジェドボ国際空港に到着直後、ロシア当局に拘束された模様です。なお警視庁は7月28日に秋葉原で起きた傷害事件で牧瀬氏を重要参考人として調査中だったとの話もあり、
I don't think anyone's going to listen to Nakabachi now. For argument's sake, let's say Nakabachi manages to recreate Kurisu's thesis from memory. Nothing will come of it as long as Kurisu is alive. The scientific community undoubtedly trusts the Makise daughter over the father, meaning Kurisu can deter any attempts made by Nakabachi. World War III won't break out, or at the very least, it won't be over the Nakabachi paper. Apparently Kurisu reported to the police that I was stabbed, but at present, there has been no progress on the investigation as the victim, from their point of view, up and disappeared. I heard from Daru that no one was murdered at Raidekon, and I couldn't find a single report of anyone dying in the area that day. Kurisu is still alive, that much is certain, but I haven't had any contact with her since then. Aside from the few words we exchanged at Raidekon, the current Kurisu and I are strangers. Besides, I was bedridden, so it's not like I could have gone to see her even if I had wanted to. Kurisu said that she was supposed to go back to America in August. That was on the Alpha World line, so things may have changed. But what reason would she have to stay in Japan after what her father did to her? I thrust my hand into my pocket. 2 pins remain. One of them is for LabMem 001. That's me. The remaining badge, which belongs to LabMem 004, may never reach its rightful owner. But Kurisu is alive, and that's good enough for me. I once chose to let her die. I once killed her with my own 2 hands. But this time I was able to save her. No one remembers those 3 weeks we spent with Kurisu. No one but me. I will remember. I will never forget. So I don't need anything else. I don't want anything else. Hey, Kurisu. I don't know what the future holds. War may still break out. CERN may still complete their time machine. But at the very least, the future is undecided. We're building it now, from the bottom up. Not just me, not just you, but every man, woman, and child. So keep on watching, wherever in this wide world you may be. I take out my own pin and fasten it to my chest. I walk through the sea of shoppers, staring straight ahead. I quickly turn around. Just now, in the corner of my eye, I saw her. The girl who shouldn't be here. Her long hair fluttered as she passed me by. There. A familiar figure, I'd recognize that back anywhere. She has stopped too, in the middle of the sidewalk. Slowly, she turns to face me. It's her. I thought she had gone back to America. It's her. She doesn't even know me.
やっと会えた。
That voice. That face. That hair. Those eyes. Makise Kurisu is standing there, the same as I remember her.
あなたをずっと探していました。あの時、助けてくれたあなたをずっと。私、一言お礼が言いたくて。どうしてもあなたに会いたくて。本当にありがとう。あなたが無事でよかった。
Kurisu looks so radiant as she tries to hold back her tears. Just when I thought I had finally suppressed it, all my love for her flows out at once. I'm so happy that I want to cry too. So, to hide my embarrassment, I take out my phone and put it to my ear.
俺だ。なぜ彼女がここにいる？俺のリーディングシュタイナーは反応しなかったというのに。何？俺が守れたと？やれやれ。勝手なことを言ってくれる。それがシュタインズゲートの選択か。L、プサイ、コングルー。
I close my phone and clear my throat. I have no idea what to say. She's still staring at me with those wide, pleading eyes. I open my mouth.
また会えたな、クリスティーナ。
いや、だから私はクリスティーナでも女子でもないって言ったろ。え？
Now I really have no idea what to say. How does this Kurisu know about that? Those were the names I used to tease Kurisu. She always got mad whenever I used them. They were our bond, our private joke. But I had yet to use them on the day we first met at Radicon. So how could this Worldline's Kurisu know?
あれ？私、今、ふっと頭の中に言葉が浮かんで。どうして？
It looks like Kurisu is as confused as I am. She stares at me, bewildered. And then I finally realize the truth. Everyone has reading Steiner. Even if the world line changes, even if the past and the future are rewritten, your memories remain. You've merely forgotten. All it takes is a push, and you can remember. The memories of those lost 3 weeks. The memories we made together.
ようこそ、我が助手、マキセ・クリス。いや、クリスティーナ。
I reach into my pocket and take out the last pen. Nobody knows what the future holds. And that is why, just as this reunion demonstrates, the possibilities are endless. I place the pen in Kurisu's hand. I gently close her hand in mine. And holding back my tears, I tell her,
これがシュタインズゲートの選択だよ。
And that's the canonical ending. Yes, that's very important. I would like to save my system data. There is one last thing to do. I believe I have to load up a save anywhere in the game so that I can receive the last CG. Okay, there we go. I had to remember how to get this last email. It's been a while. But once you have every CG in the game, save but one, you get another email that actually goes back way back into your received history in your phone. And it looks like it's from the same address that Okabe gets the important future emails from himself. But it comes with an attachment, and if we open it, there we go. We get this cool CG congratulating you on completing the game. So let's go back to the title screen and save data one more time. So now if we look into our trophy list, it should be at 100%. Yes, 42 of 42. And the platinum for completing the game. And ooh, look, they even put the little celebration cake in the icon. Well, that does it. That is officially it. That's Steins Gate. All pieces of content, every trophy, pretty much the entire story. I mean, there might have been a few lines of dialogue that I didn't see that based on unimportant choices, but whatever. That's everything. And it only took 13 months. Wow. Jesus Christ. A huge challenge, but I think at some point when I picked it back up last fall, I said that if it were to be completed, that Steins Gate would be like a really nice feather in the cap because it's such a hard playthrough to do, especially in this format where I was like, no, I'm not going to break it up to 30 minutes or an hour each. I'm going to do every chapter in one video. And then that gets really strenuous when one of them turns out to be like 5.5 hours long and I want to kill myself. But I survived and I did it. And I'm proud of myself. If you ever want to see Steins Gate 0, don't ask for it. Not anytime soon. I wouldn't rule it out, but not anytime soon. Give it at least a year, and then maybe I'll think about doing it, especially now that all the hype is over the anime. And so far, what I've seen of it has been pretty good. I've liked it so far. So I'd rather let that come out and let things settle before ever even thinking of touching the visual novel on the channel. But maybe someday. Or maybe something else science adventure related. Over the course of starting this and finishing it, I got to read through Chaos Child, which was a lot of fun. That was an emotional trip of crazy proportions of just going up and down and feeling really depressed at times. That was really, but it was enjoyable. I can't believe we still don't have Chaos Head. I can't believe we got that first, but whatever. Someday, right? Hopefully someday. And I'll keep your eyes out for anything else science adventure related that might come to the West. I know there's some cage rattling that Spike Chunsoft might bring robotics notes over. That'd be pretty cool to see. Besides just the freaking Steins Gate Elite, which I don't care about, but I do care about Phenogram. I guess I'm in for Elite because of Phenogram. I'm really looking forward to that. So who knows? You never know what might show up one day on the channel that's science adventure related. I wouldn't say it's over, but it's going to be on hiatus for a while. Well, that does it for this adventure. I will see you all in the next one.